Final coverage brought to you by Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR, helping NASCAR drivers get to the finish line for the last 25 years. Well, the Speedway opened in 1909, hosted its first Indianapolis 500 in 1911. The NASCAR cars have been coming here since the mid-90s. Let's go trackside for the ceremonies.
Please rise for today's invocation to be delivered by Reverend Howard Brammer. Remain standing for our national anthem performed by Sergeant Byron Bartosh of the Indiana National Guard.
We are blessed, O Lord, to be able to assemble here at the motor racing capital of the world to enjoy one of the most important events in all of sports. Thank you for this venue and race. We pray for the safety of every participant and spectator. We also are blessed, O Lord, with the endowment to the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Thank you for these privileges, and we pray that they will not be taken for granted. And then, Lord, we are blessed to live in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you for America. We pray for our military personnel around the world who with determination and sacrifice defend our nation and bring freedom to others. God bless America, and may America bless God. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
We'd like to take this opportunity to recognize and honor the brave men and women of our U.S. Armed Services, especially those serving overseas. And if you'd like to learn more about how you can show your support for our troops and their families, log on to americasupportsyou.mil. It is almost showtime. A purse in excess of $9.5 million on the line today at the famed Brickyard as we go to Jerry Punch and the gang. Take it away, Doc.
All right, thank you very much, Britt. You know, in golf and tennis, there really are only a handful of events that could be considered majors. But while the Daytona 500 may be the crown jewel of stock car racing, most would agree that this one right here is a very close second. Now, Rusty, for 12 consecutive years here, you stood where those drivers are standing right now, getting ready to climb through that window and buckle up those belts. What are they thinking right now, getting ready to compete here at a place like the Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
Well, Jerry, I finished second in this event 3 times. And I'll tell you what, every single night I didn't sleep hardly at all. All these drivers right now, they're probably nervous. They're thinking about tire wear. They're thinking about how's their car going to handle. There's a ton of things on their mind. But I can tell you one thing. Last night, they didn't sleep.
You finished second here 3 times. One of those second place finishes with this guy here, Dale Earnhardt, Senior's crew chief when you won here in '95. Andy Petrie, what is the biggest challenge that faces a crew chief here today?
It's about risk versus reward. How much are you willing to risk to win the race? Are you willing to risk maybe running out of gas, taking a chance on fuel, finishing 30th? That could kill your chances in the chase. And that's the kind of thing. This race does not come to you. You have to go get it. And how much are you willing to gamble to go get it? So you have to lay it on the line to win this race.
One thing is for sure, if you win here at Indy, you will never forget it, and no one will ever forget you. It just means that much to win at a place like the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
NASCAR Nextel Cup Allstate 400 at the Brickyard, brought to you by Allstate, official insurance sponsor of NASCAR. Sprint, enter the Sprint Speed Million Sweepstakes, presented by Motorola at sprint.com/speed. Toyota, moving forward. And the Sunoco Free Fuel 5000. Pull into Sunoco for a chance to instantly win free fuel.
Well, each year, over 250,000 fans make the trek to what is arguably the most hallowed ground in all of American motorsports. They want to be here to partake of the traditions and be a part of the spectacle that is racing here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Now let's go trackside for the command to get things started.
Ladies and gentlemen, if we could have your attention, please. Now to say the most famous words in motorsports, the chairperson of the board of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Mary Holman George.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Well, the engines have fired and NASCAR's finest understand what happens next. It is a race at a place that has earned its reputation as one of the world's greatest sports venues.
The twin spires of Churchill Downs. The grass of Wimbledon's center court. Symbols as fundamental to the history and lore of a sport as the great champions who have won on these grand stages. One of the most venerated of these symbols is found here in Indiana on a track both accurately and reverently called the Brickyard.
The brick. Building block of civilization. A demonstration of man's will over nature. From the simplest of ingredients comes a raw power of which great things are built. Enter this hallowed track and you realize, no matter how much times change, some things stay the same. Tough is tough. Fired up is fired up. And a finish line is a finish line. Victory here is a precise process. Get it right, and you'll stand the test of time. Get it wrong, and it spells disaster. This grand palace is built of brick and motor, grit and speed. Despite conventional wisdom, the pieces don't always fit together, all from a single mold, but each with its own drive. To defend their title, cement their place in history, battle on their home turf, and build their own legend. They all come to this place of spectacle for a single purpose, because it is only in July, in Indiana, that a hardcore man-made stone looks good enough to kiss.
And we welcome you back to the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and the cars are rolling away, so it's time for us to take a look at the starting grid. It is an all-Chip Ganassi front row led by 21-year-old Reed Sorensen, who becomes the youngest pole sitter in the history of this Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Beside him, we're talking about his rookie teammate. Yeah, he's a NASCAR rookie, but he also won the Indy 500 back in 2000. That is Juan Pablo Montoya. The starters across the top of your screen, you can pick out where your favorite driver is starting. And while you watch that, one of my favorite parts of the pre-race coverage, when we get some final stories from our pit reporters down in the trenches. First, let's start with Mike Massaro.
Well, thanks, Doc. You know, Matt Kenseth says anytime he comes to Indianapolis, he feels like he has a legitimate shot to win. Well, to get to victory lane, though, today he'll need a record-breaking performance. The furthest back any eventual Brickyard winner has started 27th. But after struggling in practice and qualifying on Saturday, Matt Kenseth finds himself 31st rather, on the grid right now. But there is reason for optimism. He's driving a car specifically built for Indianapolis, a car he raced here a year ago and finished second with. Guys?
Well, we're honored to have as our in-race reporter the driver of the Budweiser Chevrolet, who starts on the outside of row 2 4 spot. Let's visit with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Dale Jr., Rusty Wallace, ESPN, you got me?
Yes, sir.
Dale, I'll tell you what, buddy, you qualified great and you look really good in practice. But you know how much winning this race meant to your dad. Man, what would it mean to you if you could win this thing?
Well, considering when you won a race, it seems like forever. It'd be awesome, especially at the Brickyard. Brickyard's a big deal on the circuit. So I've been spending all week thinking about it, so I'm ready to get done.
All right, buddy, have a great race.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, let's visit with his crew chief, who also happens to be his cousin, Tony Eury Jr.
Hey, Tony Jr. Andy up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Go ahead, Andy.
Hey, crew chiefs are usually the ones with all the answers, but there's a lot of questions down there today. What's the biggest unknown for you going into this race?
Well, the biggest thing is you just got to keep yourself in position and keep our track position. We worked hard Friday to get, and when it comes down here to 40 to go, you know how the strategy is to really change up and get track position. So my biggest deal is just seeing where we're at, and if we're in a winning position to make the right call here at the end. I think this is one of the biggest races and the hardest ones to call of the year.
10-4, I know you do a great job. Good luck, Tony.
Thank you, bud.
I look forward to hearing from those guys all day long. Let's check in back in the pits with more stories. Here's Dave Burns.
Well, Doc, Indy's a tough place to race, and Denny Hamlin only has one start at this track, but don't count out his experience at Pocono Raceway, a track that one corner anyway acts very much like the high-speed corners here at Indy. He swept both races last year at Pocono. He led 49 laps earlier this year, and success at Pocono can translate to success here at Indy. Crew Chief Mike Ford told me this morning, we've got a package for speed at this type of racetrack. We are just fine, F-I-N-E, fine adjustments away from a great race car for Denny. Jamie?
Well, Dave, since earlier in the week in that Ginn Racing DEI merger announcement and the fact that Dale Earnhardt Jr. is leaving DEI at the end of the year, there's been a lot of added pressure and maybe attention on Martin Truex Jr. And for good reason. He got his first Cup win just a month ago, and he's 11th in the points. That's better than the other two DEI cars. But asked about that extra attention, he said, I think it's amazing. I want to be the face of DEI. I want to be that guy. Alan?
Well, for drivers like Clint Boyer, 10th in points and on the bubble for making the championship chase, today's race is a delicate balance between protecting their place in the championship and trying to win at Indianapolis. Boyer's day complicated by the fact that his team had to change an engine this morning. By NASCAR rule, they dropped to the back of the pack for the start of this race. Win the race, but protect your place in the chase. It's going to be a tough way to do that both times here at Indianapolis today. Doc?
All right, guys, thank you very much. You know, when these cars go off and take this green flag and go sailing down into turn 1, Andy, things can get real messy in a hurry.
Doc, it's really funny. This track is so clean and pristine, but there is one thing that's always dirty around here, and that's the air. The only person that can feel that clean air today is going to be the guy out in front.
And I'll tell you what, you're going to try to use that air at your advantage all day long. You're going to try to use it to get that car to the front.
You know, there was one guy everyone said could actually see the air. And, Andy, you took him to 2 championships and a Brickyard victory.
Jerry Dale Earnhardt was amazing with air. He could always take advantage of it. And for the first time ever through ESPN Draft Track, you'll be able to see what they say only Dale Earnhardt could, air. Draft tracks will show you the effect, the positive and negative effects that air has on cars running together. The bright yellow air is where the air hits the car and changes direction, creating downforce and pressure we always talk about.
I tell you, that blue air, that's the air, that's a turbulent air. You got to use that to your advantage too, but it's very turbulent. You use that to draft up on.
It's just amazing and incredible. You can actually see the air coming off the car. Now, yesterday, pole sitter Reed Sorensen, he cut through the air quicker than anybody. We didn't show this yesterday, but here's what it looked like. Air going over his car, the quickest of the bunch.
He was making that air go fast over his car yesterday, and you can see the effect of it right there.
All right, guys, the car is now lining up on the racetrack behind the Chevrolet pace car. Andy, what should we watch for here today?
Well, tire wear is going to be a big deal right here to start the race because the track is very green still. So these cars running real fast out in these corners. These guys are going to be really worried about it early. And then the different fuel strategies. We got an 18-gallon fuel cell, long race, and like we heard Tony Jr. saying down there's going to be some strategies at the end of the race that people are going to be trying and searching for that clean air. We just talked about that, and managing that draft and trying to find that clean air is going to be key. Gambling with 2 tires late for track position, you won't see that early, but you might see that right at the end of the race for these guys to try to jump that track position.
All right. It is a 400-mile race. We will have 8 high-definition onboard cameras. We'll ride along with 8 different drivers throughout the field throughout the afternoon, and you'll get high-definition views of what's happening around this massive 2.5-mile facility, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Well, decades ago, 3.2 million bricks laid the foundation for a race course where ordinary men could become legends by simply winning a single race in a single day. 9 drivers in this field know what it feels like to win here. The other 34 want to. 250,000 diehard stock car fans are on their feet. Folks, grab a hold of those steering wheels and hang on, because the Allstate 400 is underway. The pole sitter has led the whole first lap here in each and every Allstate 400. Can Reed Sorensen hang on, but they're shifting to the inside down there. The 31 car, that's Jeff Burton making a pass.
Guys, the main thing, they got off the start and clean. Reed Sorensen's got the lead with Montoya right behind him right now. And the aerodynamics is so important at this racetrack. In getting the tire pressures up, guys, that's one big thing they got to do. But before they start maneuvering around and make some bad passes. Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the inside right now, Montoya.
Montoya just about catches the wall. We see Dale Jr. pouncing early here. He's going to try to get that track position because it's so important to jump on these guys early so you can get it. If you get caught back there, you're going to be caught in that dirty air.
Earnhardt Jr. makes the pass. He told a lot of people, including us before the race today, that he's had the best car he's ever had here at Indianapolis.
He told me last night, said, Rusty, this car is so maneuverable. I really love it. I think I can win this race. And he is doing it right now. He's running good, running Reed Sorensen down at the moment.
Well, these guys are just feeling their cars out. They know we're going to have a caution at about lap 15. NASCAR is going to throw a competition yellow so we can look at these tires and these guys can get a read on it.
And there's the 20 car, Tony Stewart, who won here in 2005, squeaking to the inside of the 16 car.
Right now, the exit of turn 3, that's a great place to pass before you get down to 4. And Stewart took advantage of it. Now, coming off of turn 4, guys, one key part of the racetrack, getting that straightaway speed down the front straightaway. Over 200 miles an hour.
Well, we're seeing them 4 wide here on this front straightaway.
And that was the 29 car, Kevin Harvick, the veteran here, who won it in 2003, going all the way to the inside groove, almost against the pit wall to make that pass.
Sure, they might be 3 wide down the straightaway. They got to get single file before they get into 1 or turn 3. This racetrack is not double wide going at those corners. They can make these passes off the corner and into straightaways.
Here comes Tony Stewart again, looking to the inside to make a pass. So much for patience early on.
Oh, yeah, he's got no patience right now. He's got a good handling car, and he's using his advantage. He's really got a lot of straightaway speed also. Dave, you got more?
Yeah, Rusty, talking to Greg Zipadelli, crew chief for Tony early this morning, he told me, you know what, I'm a big believer that if you build a car that's great aero-wise, responds to changes, and the driver likes, run it to death, run it everywhere. And this is the same exact car that Tony went to victory lane with 2 weeks ago in Chicago. He likes it, and he's comfortable with it, and it is fast.
How often do you hear that a driver wins in a car and suddenly that car becomes his favorite?
Oh, I tell you what, it's like a favorite pair of shoes. You want to use it all the time. And if he's got a car that's running this good, hey, why not?
And he's got a good car, and he's not afraid to use it right here. He's going under Brian Newman. Going to get down in the corner and try to outbrake him into the corner here. Might get the 2 for 1 here. He's good looking inside the 25 car.
Well, right now, that's a right move. You know, Newman's on the outside, Stewart on the inside. They can't go double wide. You know that somebody on the outside's got a lift right now.
Yeah, you see how smart Tony is there. He backed off, waited for his opportunity to get off the corner and pass Casey Mears.
You see this group passing down. Now watch them spreading out in the top of the green. J.J. Yaley going all the way to the inside in a backup car. He lost his primary car in qualifier in practice.
Well, Jerry, he wants to get to the inside right now as it makes a pass on the 19 car. He got to the inside right there. He's a little timid right now because he lost his main car. He's feeling himself back up in this race.
Now, right behind J.J. Yaley is the guy who won this race a year ago, the reigning Cup champion. There's the 48 car of Jimmy Johnson. He looks to be a little more patient early on than some of the other guys up front.
When we talked to Jimmy before the race, he said, man, I hate practicing here. I hate qualifying here, but I love racing here. And that showed last year when he won this race. Alan, you got more?
Yeah, I talked to Ron Malik, who's serving as crew chief for this 48 car. Remember that his primary crew chief, Chad Knaus, is still under suspension by NASCAR for a rules violation. Ron basically agreed with what you just said about Jimmy, Rusty. He said Jimmy is a guy who really likes to chase people. You get him in the race, he's really good at getting behind someone, figuring out where his car is better than theirs, and how to make a pass. That's what Jimmy's doing right now. He dropped a couple of spots on the start, but he's picked those back up and is starting to move forward.
It's such a rhythm racetrack, too. And Jimmy he gets in that rhythm in the race. You can see him now working on J.J. Yaley off the corner. He just gets that rhythm, and he works these guys and keeps working them.
Yeah, this would be for 18th position. And Jimmy Johnson spent the entire practice session, or most of the practice, in fact, the entire practice session yesterday working on race setup. Didn't focus at all on qualifying.
Jerry, we kept looking at him in practice going, look, he's way down. He's 48th fast in practice. What's going on? We were almost wanting to write him off. But he said, look, I hate this. I'm going to have a good car. Just watch.
All right, these guys in the back trying to hustle their way to the front. And speaking of up front, Reed Sorensen, the 21-year-old from Peachtree City, Georgia. You heard correctly. He became the youngest pole sitter in the almost century-old history of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The young man had a dream come true. His first pole, and it comes in the biggest venue of all.
Welcome. We were in victory lane enjoying our first win in '96. It was my crew chief, Todd Parrott, that had the idea. We need to kiss the brick. We got the whole crew and turned our hats around backwards, and it was just something fantastic.
They're gritty, and there's rubber and dirt and sand and everything else, and you don't care one bit. It's just another part of the whole prestige of winning. It's just such a great feeling to experience what it's like to win in Indy. Really don't think there's any other experience like it.
And one of the great traditions actually began with a suggestion in Victory Lane by Todd Parrott and Dale Jarrett, and the old crew went over to kiss the bricks. And the 31 car, Jeff Burton getting a little racy and takes a spot away from Juan Pablo Montoya.
Hey, with this guy's always got a great handling car. We talked about it earlier to show that he's one of the guys, doesn't like qualifying, but he loves the race. You can always count on him to have a good handling car, and right now he's past Montoya, pulled into third position.
Another guy on the move right here is that 24 car. Just coming in your picture, he's been moving steadily up in the field now. He's up to the 9th spot now. He was in 11th the last lap. He made up 2 spots here in 1 lap. He's on the move.
Yeah, he came from 21st spot to 9th in 11 laps. You think Jeff Gordon's on a march? And how about the 01 car, Mark Martin?
Well, Mark Martin, this is the car that he crashed in Chicago. He really loves this car. He told me last night, he said, look, count on me, get to the front of this pack pretty quick, because I got a good-looking car, and I got a great handling car, too.
All right, look for more on Mark Martin. Let's check in his pits with Jamie Little.
Well, Doc, a lot has been going on with this team, as I mentioned a little bit ago, joining forces, of course, with DEI. But there's 6 teams involved, but they've gone to a 4-car team. That means 2 teams must dissolve. I talked to DEI. The teams are going to get together this week. They're going to decide what people will stay and what crew members will have to go. It's kind of a hard time, as you can imagine, at home. You're working in an office, they merge together, all of a sudden you don't know if you're going to have a job starting next week or not. So kind of heavy hearts and heads laid low on that 01 crew. Keeping their fingers crossed, guys. They will have a job when everything is decided.
A lot of unknowns down there among those teams, Jamie. A lot of merger talk and some partnership talk ongoing, and some other unknowns here right now, Andy Petrie. We are 3 laps away from that competition yellow, and these crew chiefs and crew members have got to be thinking, what's going on with the tire situation?
They're really hoping they can make it this 15 laps, because that's going to stretch it for some of these guys. Some of them in practice could only go 6 or 7 laps before they had cords showing. So they're just hoping they can get in there without blowing a tire out, and then the track should rubber in and be fine later.
Well, I'll tell you, the guy not running well right now is Ryan Newman. He slipped from the front to the back of the pretty far back right now. He keeps losing ground. He can't hold the car on the bottom of the track. You see Matt Kenseth's working underneath him right now. So I believe he's one of the guys just waiting to the mandatory caution to start working on this thing.
For more on Ryan, let's check in with Dave.
Yeah, and they will make adjustments, guys, to help make that car turn better. Tight was the report from Ryan Newman early on in the run, and they're going to have to start the day working hard on that 12 car.
And again, the reason for the competition caution was the fact that we had rain throughout much of the weekend. There was not a lot of rubber on the racetrack. And when a track is green, it's almost like a cheese grater grinding off the tires. And, Andy, that creates a serious problem for anyone trying to run aggressively.
Yeah, it is. This track's been ground with a diamond grinder, so you got grooves, little grooves in here. So it's really challenging for these Goodyear tires.
But right now, Sorensen's led every single lap, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. right behind him. They're running almost identical lap speeds. But I tell you what, Kevin Harvick, hard into the wall. 66 car.
That is Jeff Green. He had been on and off pit road just a few minutes ago because he had brushed the wall earlier.
Right rear tire.
And you heard him say a right rear tire. He had actually come on the pit road.
Though. The right rear looks like it might be up.
Yeah, it's contact with the wall. And he had actually come down pit road earlier, Andy, I guess, and they...
Yeah, right now you take a look at it.
The right rear tire is soft.
See the right rear tire is flat on it right now, so he called it correctly. He got down in the corner, lost your right rear, but you got to believe that maybe a piece of metal cut the tire down, Andy, from brushing that wall.
Yeah, that's the thing that happens when you make contact with that wall. A lot of times you'll get some metal hanging there that'll grab that tire and blow it out. Nothing you can do when that happens either. You can see he's just along for the ride right here.
You know, his problem started earlier. Hit pit road with brushing the wall. Got a penalty. Went back out in the racetrack and had this problem right now. So I tell you what, this is one of the greatest racetracks in the country. Everybody puts their heart and soul in here, but it's going to end for him today.
Yeah, it started out bad and then got worse.
Yeah, not a good day for Jeff Green there in the 66 car. 2 pit stops and pretty heavily damaged Chevy Monte Carlo. Well, they'll line up behind the pace car, and they were going to have a competition yellow at lap 15, but this one as a result of caution. And the teams are now being told that they may you put fuel in the car.
Yeah, NASCAR just came on the radio and told these guys that this will be the caution, that the mandatory caution they were going to have, so they can put fuel in now.
Ordinarily, they don't let people come in and take fuel until the mandatory caution, so no one can get an advantage.
Well, that's the rule. The rule is when you have a competition yellow, they won't let anybody put fuel in the cars on the pit stop before that competition yellow comes out, just to make it even for everybody else.
Well, this is going to be a full-blown pit stop. These guys know the way their car's handling, and when you got a bad handling car, you don't want it to keep going like Ryan Newman does. So they're loving this pit stop right now. Look for some big changes, and I feel like the racetrack's starting to rub up a little bit now, guys. Be better on tire wear.
This next run, they ought to be able to stretch it, and by the next run, I think everything will be good on tires.
All right, they're going to peel off, and they should all come at 55 miles an hour down what is a lengthy pit road. It's 5/8 of a mile long, one of the longest pit roads in all of NASCAR. As they come together, they head down toward Mike Massaro.
His only complaint was that the car needs to turn better. The plan is for 4 tires to also go up on the track bar and make an air pressure adjustment as well. 4 tires and fuel for Jeff Burton. Looks like a clean pit stop. Allen.
A little debate out of whether to take 4 or 2 tires to keep track position for Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team. They're going to play it safe, take 4 tires on this stop, Dave.
21-year-old Reed Sorensen hits his marks perfectly. They will make a track bar adjustment. That's the wrench in the rear window. His car was very loose, wanted to spin out on him. That will change the chassis. They'll also make an air pressure adjustment to these 4 tires. Send him back out. He came in the leader. Will he win the race off pit road? It looks like no. Tony Stewart's going to go by, guys.
Damn good job. That's the way to start the day off.
And you heard it exactly. What a great way to start the day off for the Home Depot bunch. They gained 2 spots with great pit work, and you heard them talking about all those adjustments to Reed Sorensen's car, but it cost them a couple of spots.
Well, I tell you what, Stewart's has still got a good car, though. Sorensen's running great right now, but Stewart, we talked about earlier, this car was marching to the front. He picked up a lot of spots, and the guys on pit road really helped him.
All right. Let's take a look at the crew camera on the 41 car. Jason Sheets, who's the front tire changer. He is a native from Indianapolis, having to perform under pressure, getting those tires on. Jason Sheets getting the work done for Reed Sorensen and his Dodge. Under caution for the first time of day. Contact in the wall with the 66 car. Back in a moment. And We welcome you back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The Allstate 400 under yellow for the first time today. Contact with the 66 car. Jeff bringing it into the wall. We've had a competition caution. Everyone has been on and off pit road. Now, we told you we'd be able to show you to visualize the air going over the cars. It's called draft tracks. Let's take a look.
Okay, right now you see Ryan Newman busting the air right now, and you got the turbulent air of Matt Kenseth behind him. Now Matt pulls down to the bottom. He's in the clean air. He has more pressure on the front of his car, what makes it turn better. But now, look at that. He's drafting up behind Newman. That's what you want. But you want to get out of that air, folks, to get more air to the front of the 17 car. So he pulled back. Now the 12 car, Ryan Newman's back in the draft, which is going to give him really good straightaway speed. Let's take one more time. Yellow air is pressure on the nose. The 17 car pulls down into the clean air right now, which gives him the best handling car. But the better draft in the straightaway is Ryan Newman behind him in the blue air.
And I got to love the fact that the air changes colors when the pressure and air speed changes in the draft tracks to let you know how the air is actually changing as it becomes turbulent, and then less so and changes colors behind the car.
Well, Jerry, one thing you got to remember, the blue air, when you're behind it at a place like Daytona or Talladega, that's giving you really good straightaway speeds. At a place like this, you want to get out of that in the corners. Dave, you got more?
Yeah, Denny Hamlin is back on pit road, guys. He got a penalty for speeding down pit road. And because they removed a little bit too much tape from the car for the adjustment they wanted, they put a little bit of tape back on. So it could have been just a pass through, but they decided to stop and put a little tape back on the front grille.
Any way you look at it, that's going to be very, very costly because he was in 8th spot before he made that stop. That's going to take him back on this restart to about 41st or 42nd. So that's a big penalty.
All right, let's check in down with Alan on the tire situation. AB?
Hey, just finished looking at all the tires that came off the cars in my section of pit road. Only one showed any sign of cords. The leaders all looked good. So as the cars have run in the race here, it looks like that problem has taken care of itself as expected.
Yeah, that's good. That's what's going to happen the more these guys run. With this sun on the track, it's going to take rubber really good, so these guys won't have to worry about this. If that first run didn't show many cords, I wouldn't be too worried about it from here on if I was a crew.
A lot of the teams are real concerned about, they ran all day yesterday and they could not rubber up this racetrack, but we really think the temperature, how wet it was yesterday, that's what was causing the problem. But right now, it looks good.
All right, one car that is looking really good right now is Tony Stewart. Great pit work, Greg Zipadelli and company. In this first pit stop of the day, gained him a couple position, puts him back out front for the first time today. As the pace car pulls away, we will listen in to the spotters and the drivers as we go full throttle.
Ready. Ready. Green, green, green. Green flag, green flag. All around. Inside, clear by 2. Clear all around. Clear all around. Clear by 4 behind you, June. Not too bad. There's people in front of us that are going over the NASCAR. Keep after you and you're doing fine. Good exit there. Clear by 2. No pressure from behind. Still there. Get back in your rhythm. Go get him. Still there. Still there. Got one more coming. Still there. Still there. Still there.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. looking in the inside, thinks better of it and stays in line.
I tell you right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is giving Stewart all he can take. Inside for the pass right now. It looks like he's got the position getting down into turn 1.
Okay, you see that?
Oh, cars here. Cars spinning. That's the 12 car of Ryan Newman. Spins around, heavy contact.
We're rolling. Head down pit road.
And caution comes out for the second time today here on lap number 20.
A lot of people predicted Newman that maybe the guy to win this race because he ran so good at Pocono, a track so close to Indianapolis, but he was perfect in practice. We don't know what's going wrong here.
He's been really struggling with that car from the start of the race. I don't know what caused that accident right there, but he's been struggling.
Yesterday in practice, that car looked really good. In the day, it just started going backwards. You know, Andy, this track started rubbering up quicker than these guys thought.
Yeah, this track's changing a lot because we didn't have this kind of sun on the racetrack when we were practicing.
Them 4, I know. We'll meet you in the garage, bud.
Yeah, these guys are going to go to the garage and do quite a bit of work to get this car back out.
Guys, I got to tell you, these soft walls on these racetracks right now are just a heaven sent. Newman's got the left side of that car toward really big time. And NASCAR and Tony George, who owns this racetrack, invented these soft walls. And these drivers are loving it right now with impacts like that.
Caution flag a moment ago. The 12 car of Ryan Newman spins around. There is contact in this cloud of smoke here in the corner.
See, his driver's side first, too. And that's kind of like we saw J.J. Yaley in practice in the 18 car hit very similar to this. And, boy, I tell you, that really hurts when you hit the wall like that.
Nice job by Carl Edwards to make the miss here.
He's up high. He's up high. He's still up high. He's still up high. He's coming down. He's coming out right on the apron now. Right on the apron. Come on by there, buddy. Nice job. You know, rolled up.
Now, Ryan Newman was very close to being in the top 12 in the chase. He was in 13th spot, but just 30 points behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. And this could be a huge blow as this traffic now snaking their way around some of the debris on the racetrack.
Yeah, they just changed tires. They don't want to have to come back and look at all this debris everywhere. So these guys are going to be really picking their way through here. Wouldn't be surprised to see somebody get a flat tire out of that.
Well, safety crews are on the track. Caution out for the second time today. We'll take a break and come back with a restart. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the leader at the Allstate 400.
The Indianapolis Motor Speedway to me is like the holy grail in racing, and always has been, always will be. I mean, there'll be nothing that'll ever take its place, but to finally win at the Brickyard and finally accomplish a dream of just winning a race there was everything to me. I mean, it's been the biggest race of my career.
Tony is one of our 5 Hoosiers in the Allstate 400 at the Brickyard here today. He is also one of 3 who has held the lead. It was Reed Sorensen, the pole sitter first. Stewart then took over after a brilliant pit stop, but just relinquished it to Dale Earnhardt Jr. And now down in our pit studio with a very special guest, let's go to Susie.
Well, we have a full house along with Brad and Dale. We have James Denton from ABC's Desperate Housewives, who is the Grand Marshal. Everybody always recounts their very first time walking into this place. What was it like for you?
It's unbelievable. I've been on the field for World Series and college bowl games and everything else, but being up on the flag stand when those guys come under you the first time, it just about blasted me right off of the thing. I talked to Jimmy Johnson before the race, and he said, stay up there as long as they'll let you. Just hang on and make them drag you off, because it's the best place to see a race, and that was the best advice I got all day.
Hey, guys, what was the very first time you ever walked on the grounds here like?
Yes, it's incredible for me. I mean, I grew up as a kid going with my dad to closed circuit TV, watching these races, the Indianapolis 500. And the first time to come in here was just incredible. It was back when we were running the Busch cars over at Raceway Park. And then the first time to come in here as a driver was just a very special moment. I mean, you know, hair standing up on your arms. I mean, it's just very, very special.
It was kind of the same for me. Being a huge fan, I always watched the Indianapolis 500. I watched the Fords and the Unsers and those people win those races, the Andretti's. And I came here in 1994 to watch these guys run, and I walked down onto the track. And it's just awe-inspiring to be standing on those bricks and look down at the corners. It's unbelievable. It's just a phenomenal feeling.
For everyone who hasn't been lucky enough to actually be live at a track, and now you have, what do you tell your friends?
You know, it's everything it's cracked up to be. There's nothing like it I've watched on TV, but once you get out there and feel it and hear it, it's one of the most amazing spectacles ever. And this obviously is just a great place to see you first.
You know, Dale, we talk about feeling it, hearing it, and we're watching Draft Track. Did you feel like when you're driving that you can see the air?
I don't know about seeing it, but you definitely, as a driver, need to know exactly what that air is doing for you and when to be able to utilize it, where to use it the very best. Are you getting a good enough pull from that car to get to him before the end of the straightaway? Because if you don't, you go in there to try to make that pass, then you lose 3 or 4 car lengths. So you got to really know how to work the air, when to use it, how to best use it to your advantage to get that air back on the front of your car.
Who's using it best right now?
Well, right now it looks like Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's taken a lot from his dad, and he has made his way to the front.
Doc, let's go back up to you.
Thank you, Susie. Great to have James joining us here from Desperate Housewives. And you take a look at the front of this field. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading for the first time here in 5 years. The last laps he led here was in 2002. Lap 23, completing caution number 2. Over 250,000 fans here on their feet watching Earnhardt Jr. lead one of their favorite sons, the Hoosier Tony Stewart. And that pit stop a moment ago as you watch Earnhardt and Stewart flash by the third place car of Reed Sorensen, who led the first 16 laps. They made a lot of adjustments on that car on that stop.
Yeah, the key thing here is he doesn't have that clean air on the nose like he did the first run. It's going to be interesting to see how his car handles behind these two guys up in front of him. You see, those guys got a big jump and got away from him a little bit.
Folks got to remember one thing, aerodynamics at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is more important than anywhere else we run because the straightaways are so long and the corners are so flat. So you're going to hear us all day long talk about air on these cars. As you see right now, Matt Kenseth is in the back there getting away from a car to get clean air to the front of his car so he gets more downforce.
Getting a little bit of drafting help from the one car, Martin Truex Jr. right behind him. Now Martin Truex making the pass on Matt Kenseth.
Truex in the one car on the inside of the 17, trying to bring Strimmy in the 40 car. That's the other Chip Ganassi car. Whoa, and the 17 car, Kenseth slides back in the spot, and Strimmy has to stay on the inside.
Well, guys, right now they got fresher tires. They're cool right now on these restarts, and they're going to get all they possibly can on these restarts while the tires are in good shape.
One of the big stories early on, Jeff Gordon, who started back in 21st position, gained 11 spots in just 10 laps, and now Gordon being shown all the way up in 7th position. And we just had the caution a moment ago involving Ryan Newman in hard contact. Let's get an update from the garage area and Dave Burns.
Yeah, and the update course stock is hard work on the 12 car right now. The only difference is that Ryan has not jumped in there to help him. That's usually his mode after he gets in a wreck like this. But he's just been standing at the front of the car, looking it over. Really doesn't want to talk to anybody right now. And as he moves around to the side of the car, you can see Ryan coming to the back just to see where all the damage is. He was sitting in the garage for the longest time, very disappointed, just sort of hands on his knees, upset that his Brickyard 400 was over.
Guys, I got to tell you, Newman thought he had a really good car for this race. He's disgusted right now with himself because he lost to get into that corner. And you know what? The Brickyard 400, it's 365 days away right now till you get to come back and do it again.
The 31 car. Now look at this line here. The Earnhardt car goes by the 8, then this Tony Stewart, then the Target car. But that next car in line, the AT&T Chevrolet of Jeff Burton, he sat on the pole here a year ago and had the best race car for the first 100 laps, and it went away. But he's got a really good race car here early on today.
Yeah, and these guys were talking about that, and they came here with a little different strategy for practice. They didn't really want to. They've already sat on the pole for the Brickyard 400, so they didn't really have to come here and do that. So they just concentrated on the race. They didn't want to repeat. They didn't want to have a good, strong first half and not be able to finish it off. So these guys really practiced for this.
And with more on Jeff Burton, let's check in with Mike Massaro.
And Doc, speaking of Jeff Burton's practice, I spoke with Scott Miller this morning, and there was a little bit of frustration with practice. Scott told me that Jeff Burton really likes long runs during practice. That helps him really evaluate where the car is. But because of the way the tire was wearing, almost down to the cords in about 10 laps, they were unable to get those long runs. So that was a little bit frustrating. The other frustrating part, there was really no break in the middle of the practice, so they didn't have time to really digest and really break everything down. But it doesn't seem to be affecting them out there right now, guys.
Well, Mike, I got to tell you, that's really true because after you practice on the racetrack for about 45 minutes, you're looking forward to that break that NASCAR gives you to come in and think about it and try to make a decision what to do to the car.
Yeah, it's just the driver and the crew chief need to have that time where they can just decompress a little bit and think. When that practice is going on, things are happening so fast that the crew chief he can't hardly think about the changes and all the things he would like to do to the car. He needs that little downtime to be able to decide that.
Speaking of downtime, there are 2 long 5/8 of a mile straightaways here at Indianapolis, and Rusty in the car. Can you breathe? I mean, it seems like it takes forever to get out of turn 4 right there and get all the way down to turn 1.
But Jerry, it feels like you can breathe in the front straightaway a little bit, but it seems like you're more relaxed in the back straightaways. You see Jimmy Johnson now making the pass on Kurt Busch perfectly getting into turn 1. I tell you what, this 48 car, it's got a good car right now. It's starting to wake up. But after practice yesterday, he didn't know what to think because he really didn't like his car.
And with more on Jimmy Johnson, let's check in with Alan Bestwick.
who came on the radio when that first caution came out, Doc, and told his crew that his car was pretty good. Not bad was the phrase that he used. Said it needed just a little help with front-end grip in the turn. So they made an adjustment on the pit stop to try and help him with that. You saw him just pick up the spot from Kurt Busch. Jimmy is marching forward. He took the green flag in this race back in 19th spot, and that was 8th he just picked up.
And as you see Mark Martin, the 0-1 car, making a move inside of the 2 car. We'll remind you that Jimmy Johnson, by the way, is without his crew chief, Chad Canals, who's been the team leader and a major force in their success. He won't be gone until August 15th. So Ron Malik filling in and doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, this car's handling real well. You see it, just a little whisper of smoke. That's just a tire rubbing on the fender. One of the front tires. These cars travel so much in the front end when they put on the brakes and get down in the corner that it makes the tire actually rub the fender.
You know, the 2 car Kurt Busch, he's starting to fall back a little bit too right now. It makes you think, does the 12 car and the 2, since their teammates have close to the same setup? Because he just can't seem to hold the bottom the way they need to.
It looks like Kurt Busch's car is a little better than Ryan's was. Ryan's car was so bad that he was losing a spot or 2 almost every lap. At least Kurt Busch can keep up a little bit here. Mark Martin's one of the best cars on the racetrack right now.
The story today thus far has been the early success of this car. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in his entire career as a driver here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The young man only led a total of 13 laps. As he comes by this time, he will equal that total in 1 race today.
I got to tell you, Dale Earnhardt Jr. fans, this guy has been about 2 or 3 tenths of a second faster than anybody for many, many laps in a row right now, so he's looking really good.
31 laps of 160 are in the books at the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the 14th running of the Allstate 400 at the Brickyard. And this beautiful aerial coverage from high atop the Indianapolis Motor Speedway brought to you by courtesy of our good friends at Goodyear, helping NASCAR drivers get to the finish line for the past 25 years. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the leader. He has led once for 15 laps. First time he's led here since 2002. He has now led more laps today than he has his entire career at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Tell you what, though, Dale Earnhardt Jr., at the next pit stop, they're going to have to work on the left front corner of the air dam. We're going to another camera shot on his left front air dam. He's run over a ripple strip, and he's bent it under. And you can see right there, guys, that's causing an aerodynamic push. He's lost about 2 tenths of a second.
All right, let's get you up to speed on what's happening with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and some of the other leaders. First, here's Alan Bestwick.
And Doc, I just talked to Tony Eury Jr., Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crew chief, about that. He looked at me, he waved thumbs down. He said that is going to hurt us for a while. Hopefully we can pull that out on the next pit stop and confirm that Jr. did run over one of the rumble strips. These little, they're kind of like speed bumps they have on the bottom of the racetrack to keep drivers from dropping their left side tires into the grass. Dave?
The only speed bump, so to speak, so far for Tony Stewart is a car that just doesn't want to turn like it did on the first run. He radioed in early in this run, way too tight already, just a little bit loose off the corner. They'll make adjustments on the next stop to try to help Tony's car. Behind him, Reed Sorensen now running third after starting on the pole. On the first run, Reed's car was loose. It wanted to spin out. They made air pressure track bar adjustments. He says now, going into just one corner, turn 4 that is, just a little bit tight. So working the adjustments also on your pole sitter. Mike?
After sitting on the pole and leading a bunch of laps at the beginning of last year's Brickyard 400 and then fading to finish about 15th, Jeff Burton said he'll never forget that. He came here with a little bit different approach and concentrated a little bit more on race setup during practice. It's paying off right now, although he says the car is a tick tight. Alan?
Juan Pablo Montoya started on the outside of the front row. He has fallen back to the 5th position, but stabilized there after slipping back in the opening run of the race. Complaining about the front end grip of his car, Montoya wants it to cut a little better in the corners, and that's what he's working on now, getting pressure from Jeff Gordon. Mike?
And Jeff Gordon charged from the 21st starting position all the way to 6th now, and he's done it all by himself. Feels like the car's extremely balanced, although he's feeling a tight condition when he gets on the throttle. Behind him, Kevin Harvick. Harvick's had a bit of an obstacle to start the race, and that was because his spotter, his secondary spotter, had a faulty cable in his radio. They had to change that out and adjust, but it doesn't seem to be holding Kevin Harvick back right now, running solid in the top 10. Jamie?
And Mark Martin started 13th, making his move on up, gained 5 positions. He's currently in 8th. Now, he came over the radio after that first pit stop and said, guys, I think my second gear is broken. So right now, he only has 1st, 3rd, and 4th. Now, where that will affect him is when he exits pit road and on restarts. They're hoping not to use that first gear because they said, the team told me, it eventually will go. Tire wear was good after that stop, but right now he says that right rear feels like it's wearing just a bit. Alan?
Jimmy Johnson started 19th. He's up to the 9th spot. Now the defending winner of this race just radioed his crew, said the adjustment they made on the last pit stop helped him in the corners exactly where he needed it to. Right now the back end is sliding a little bit on that 48 car. And rounding out the top 10 will be Kyle Busch in the 5 car for Hendrick Motorsports. He started 18th. He's moved up to 10th place, and there's trouble on the track.
Tony Raines against the wall, gets tagged in the door in the right front of that car. Also spinning is Robbie Gordon in the car number 7. And the heavily...
That was the 9 car, got right beside of him, turned him around.
And this is Casey King's Dodge, who got a side-on impact with directly the nose of the car.
It looks like the 96 car lost it, and they said the 9 car got in the side of him. The 9 car, Casey Kane, got into side of him after he was sideways in the middle of the racetrack. So they killed both cars here. Big damage on them.
Now here's what happened up in the turn a moment ago. The 96 car. Now watch Casey Kane and the 96 side by side.
Yeah, just two guys, just not quite enough room between them.
Yeah.
Don't really know who to put the blame on, but boy, this is bad for Casey Kane. These guys are trying to just get something going here and just not been able to do it this year.
I tell you what, in our early rear play, it looks like the 9 just drilled him in the door, but coming back to the replay, you can see what happened. The aero loose kicked in, and the both cars slid up in each other.
It's hard to race down in the corner side by side at this track. It's just real narrow getting down in there, the groove is.
All right, from the Allstate onboard camera, Casey Kane comes back across and just right in the right front fender.
Just finishes them both off right there. They were both already torn up, but that just finished them off.
Let's take one more look angle of this right here as they get in a corner. 96 is already wrecked. He's coming across the track, and boom, Kane's got nowhere to go. But before that, Casey went inside and got aero loose and slid up in the side of the 96. It looks like Casey started this wreck.
Well, this will count now as a competition yellow, and you will be allowed to take fuel. The damaged cars now limping down pit road will be headed back to the garage area. As you guys said, Casey Kane hoping to be able to finally get a top 10, being fairly conservative early on here after a good qualifying run. He heads to the garage, and behind him, Tony Raines.
Yeah, both those cars were really destroyed.
They line up behind the pace car. You heard the guys on pit road a moment ago in our sprint up to speed talking about guys who needed changes. Tony Stewart said it was too tight, would not turn. Others wanted changes. They're headed to you, Mike Massaro.
And Doc, just before this pit stop, Jeff Burton came over the radio saying that he's trying to point the nose of the car in the right direction, but the car just won't turn. He's looking for some grip. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment and a 4-tire change on Jeff Burton. The team on the wall, and they leap into action as they work on the right side of the 31 car and go to work there. Fuel being put in and the chassis wrench being put in as well as they make their adjustment. Ellen.
After they change the right side tires on this 8 car, watch front tire carrier Sean Ward. After he places the left front tire in place, he's going to give a big pull on that lower fender that's been damaged on this 8 car. There he is. He's trying to pull it out, but has been told not to waste any time. Get the car out of the pits. Dave?
The challenge for Tony Stewart's crew, make my car turn better in the center, make that stop when it leaves the corner. They'll make a chassis and air pressure adjustment to try to help that.
Here's the race off pit road, and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, all right.
And Martin Truex Jr. gaining 10 spots. Got to wonder if they just did some tire strategy there.
Yeah, it's about time that one of these cars tried that because the track is rubbering in. The left side seemed to hold up real well anyway, and they hadn't been that many laps, so that was a good move for Martin Truex Jr.
Third caution of the day, and everyone able to get on pit road. Here's the race off pit road. It's Earnhardt Jr. Great pit work by the 20 crew. He is second off pit road. Then comes Juan Pablo and Truex.
I think it's just interesting how important that left front is. Everybody that we've seen on pit road.
We welcome you back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as we are under caution for the third time a day. Lap 41 of 160 here. And all the leaders have been on and off pit road. And the leader again, Dale Earnhardt Jr., as he was when the caution first came out. Let's listen and talk into our in-race reporter, Dale Jr.
Dale Jr., Rusty Wallace, ESPN. You got us?
Sir.
But your car looks like it's really fast out there, but about 10 laps ago, it looks like you injured that left front air dam, bent it under just a little bit. Are you feeling the push in that car now because of that?
Not really. I mean, there was a little bit of aerodynamic getting in, but I think that was more a race car. Tony Jr. and the guys said they got it fixed out, pulled out on the pit stop air, so should be okay. We'll tune on it some more, and I'll probably keep hitting it. Them rumble strips down there ain't made for stock cars. We can tear my fenders up every time I come down here, but I like to get down there next to the grass, you know what I mean?
All right, Dale, thanks for talking to us.
10-4.
Hey, Tony Jr., here's Andy. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, we see that that valence there. Is that gonna? You think that's gonna hurt it? And are you gonna be able to get it pulled out and get it to stay there?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how many more times he wants to hit it, but you know, we're gonna just do the best we can and keep pulling it out every stop so he can drive where he needs to. But I'll just keep tuning the car around it. I mean, these cars are aero dependent. Sometimes you just get rid of it, just do the best you can to get it mechanically turning.
Yeah, 10-4. How's the tire wear looking?
It's pretty awesome. I mean, it's kind of your typical deal. You know, when you come here in the summertime and you're testing and stuff, you have the same issue that we had this week. So once the race got started, we knew it'd get great. And right now, everything looks good.
Okay, Tony, thank you a lot. You guys looking good.
How about a little sarcasm from Tony Eury Jr.? Now, folks, Dale Earnhardt Jr. can actually hear what Tony Eury Jr. was telling us. Now, here's the pit stop where they were trying to pull that left front valence out.
Tell you, that left front valence is pretty tough down there, and they pulled on it. They really didn't get much out of it, but you know, we were watching his lap speeds, and he's about 1/10 of a second off right now, and every now and then, him and Stewart run almost identical lap time, so it's not a real big deal, and I think they'll be fine.
He said it depends on how many more times he wants to hit it. Do you ever tell his dad, Dale Earnhardt Sr., don't hit that thing?
Yeah, but he said, I'm going to hit it anyway, so you're just going to have to fix it. And he sounds just like his dad right there.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Now, the one car of Martin Truex Jr. was speeding on the exit of pit road and was penalized. And when you get penalized here, that longest line is very long.
Oh, that longest line is very long, so he's way in the back right now. Now, here's a car that I wouldn't doubt on the next pit stop might try 2 right side tires for track position, since his track is starting to rubber up and look a little better right now.
Yeah, he was 4th spot coming out of the pits, and now he's going to line up in 37. So that's a tremendous penalty at this track. Take a while to overcome that.
All right, green flag waves again as Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads Tony Stewart, Juan Pablo Montoya, and Jeff Gordon down to turn 1. Here's the 48 car. Watch him. That's Jimmy Johnson. But the 07 now making a move. That's Clint Boyer. And you heard in the pre-race show, they made an engine change, and he had to start shotgun, which is dead last on the field. And he has done a nice job driving this car up toward the front.
Looks like the engine they put in there is pretty good, too, because he was passing on the straightaway right there. Looks like he cleared Jimmy Johnson right there on the backstrap.
Right now, it does look like Dale Jr. is having any problem whatsoever. I'm watching the lap times. He just ran almost 0.2 of a second faster than Tony Stewart right now. So it's really not worth messing with that air dam if it's going to cost you time in the pits.
I think where it'll really show up is if he happens to get back in traffic. I think it'll hurt him more than it is out front. He's got the advantage of that clean air pushing down on that nose right now, so it may not be hurting him quite as much as that clean air is helping him.
Well, one driver who didn't want to be where he is right now, he was hoping to have a good day, but it all went away early. Right, Dave?
Yeah, that did for Casey Kane. And after they got back to the garage area, you and Tony Raines had a fairly extended conversation, shared your views with each other. I'm sure you didn't come to an agreement. What actually happened?
We were just, he came over to talk about it. My car was backwards as I was getting into the corner, and I was running low. So, I mean, I was told he entered on my right rear corner. Whether that happened or not, my car was backwards before I got there, so it was over. But just disappointing when you're going backwards that fast. It's, you know, that's what happens. I mean, if you have fast cars, you're not wrecking. When you have slow cars, things happen.
And just help me clarify, you were crashing or it was just way loose?
I was tight. The car wouldn't turn the whole time. That's why I was going backwards. And then it went way loose into that corner. And I think it's because he sucked up on my right rear, but that's just what I was told by my team or whatever. So I don't know. I'm not sure what happened. I was looking forward. Next thing I knew, I was in the wall.
All right, big trouble on the racetrack, guys. Big crash here. Jimmy Johnson involved. The 48 car spins around. And the last year's winner involved.
Flat. I don't think I have too much damage.
He's got a little more damage than he knows. That left front fender's tore up pretty bad. And here's Ricky Rudd with the right front fender blown off of his car.
The 88 car involved.
Jamie McMurray, big damage too.
Both the front and rear of the 26 car, McMurray's, he tries to get on the pit road.
We're going to have to go to the garage, guys.
This track is so narrow, when something happens up there, it's hard to avoid it.
I tell you, there's debris all over the racetrack too when that accident happened, and these guys are running over this stuff, blowing tires and tearing up. And like you said, Andy, it's not like a regular track, it's narrow. Jamie McMurray looks like he can get back on the track, but after a pit stop or two. Now Jimmy Johnson's car, they're going to work on that, and I think they can get it back and stay working throughout the rest of the race.
The 10 car involved, that's Scott Riggs as he gets turned from behind. The 21 car, that's Bill Elliott. They were all stacked up almost in a single file.
Almost like a domino effect here. All these guys are running so close together. Almost 3 wide coming off the corner. Just not enough room. All of them so close, that's why they all get in the red.
I want to take another look at this
Yaley tears up another car.
Trying to back it way down middle of 1 and 2. Big wreck. Big wreck. Back it down, wave them off. They're still checked up around here. Speak your way through there. Take your time. Pick your way through there. A lot of debris. Clear high right there. Clear high all the way to the racetrack. Come on through there.
Boy, Elliott Sadler's spotter being able to weave him and talk him through all that debris on the racetrack.
We're going to take one more look at this replay here shortly, getting into turn 3, and let's see what happened to this again. See the 48 car trying to make it to pit road right now. Got the left front. He's trying not to tear the fender off, Andy.
A chain reaction crash involving 5 cars. We'll update who the cars are, how much damage, and what happened to last year's winner here as he tries to make it on the pit road back in a moment.
We welcome you back to Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the 14th running of the Allstate 400 at the Brickyard. We are under our 4th caution. This one, a big one. 8 cars in total, and we're back here in the pit studio. Brad Daugherty and Dale Jarrett, who's won this race 2 times. What goes through your mind when you see a wreck like this?
Well, I think when it happens right in front of you, there's not a lot of room to get away from the other cars. You just kind of get sucked into it. I think one of the things that's creating these problems are these guys are on colder tires, the air pressure down, and they're having to start these cars so loose. And it looked like the 26 car just got loose on the inside. We talk about how aero dependent these cars are. You need that to get it taken away from you, and then it creates a big problem like this.
And the thing that was impressive to me that you talk about, look how narrow that is. And it's almost like they get stacked up when that one car gets loose and they're on top of one another. I think patience also would be a great virtue at this point in time. Like I said, they're very, very loose. They need to take their time, feel their way back into the race, and let race come to them. Looks like these guys are running all over each other.
Well, let's check in with Dave.
And Jamie McMurray's crew is working on the car right now. Looked to us like an air off the car situation, Jamie. Is that what it felt like?
Well, I mean, it was just put yourself in a bad situation. The Matt was passing the 48 car, and you know, it's tempting when you're the 3rd guy in line to want to make it 3 wide, but I don't know why the 11 did what he did, but he stuck it underneath Matt, and you know, and I mean, my perspective looking at that, I thought, well, he's got to let Matt go because he's not far enough in there, and it didn't look like he did, and Matt had to go straight, and you know, when you watch on TV, you don't realize how much you're sliding around, and you're already kind of out of control, and when you expect everyone to keep going at the pace they are, and they don't, when you try to slow down, you just can't. I mean, you lose it. And you know, I tried hooked, and I thought I was going to hit head on. You're just trying to save it. So, I put myself in a bad situation there.
Is it doubly frustrating when you've been doing so 15th in points now, Jamie?
Well, I mean, I don't really even pay attention to the chase deal. If you run well, you make the chase. If you don't make the chase. But you know, Chicago, we struggle a little bit, but we had a pretty good car today. It's just track position is very important, and they made some pretty big adjustments on our car and got it better and better. So I felt pretty good right there, but you know, just go fix it and ride around now.
Okay, glad you're okay. They are going to fix it, as he said. He is going to get back out on the track for some points, Jerry, but it's not the way you want to end the Brickyard 400.
Thank you, Dave. For more information on track incidents, log on to ESPN.com. Search word safety. Work on going down there. And Andy, you've been where these guys are many, many times trying to repair cars in a hurry. And how do you know where to start?
Well, you just start assessing what it's going to take to get the car to go. First, get it on the ground where it'll roll, and then the wheels will all go in the same direction, and then make sure things aren't going to fall off of it. But this is just not where you want to be in the Brickyard. You know, big race here at the Brickyard, and sit in the garage area. That is not where you want to be.
There were 8 cars involved in this 4th caution flag of the day. You see Jamie McMurray's car. Work ongoing out on pit road. The list: Robbie Gordon, Scott Riggs, J.J. Yaley, Bill Elliott. You mentioned McMurray, Jimmy Johnson, pretty heavy damage. Ricky Rudd, Carl Edwards almost got through it at the back of that pack. Remember, Edwards is driving with an injured thumb from last weekend in a short track incident, and he got tagged late. His car spun around, minimal damage, but 8 cars involved in an incident on the racetrack that brought out the caution flag for the 4th time today. Back with a restart in just a moment. Welcome back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. These beautiful shots from high above this massive facility, courtesy of the fine friends at Goodyear, helping NASCAR drivers get to the finish line for the past 25 years. We are currently under a yellow flag for the 4th time today. 8 cars involved in a grinding crash out of the corner. Again, Jimmy Johnson, Ricky Rudd, Jimmy McMurray, J.J. Yaley, Bill Elliott, Scott Riggs, Robbie Gordon, and Carl Edwards. Those cars involved. McMurray back being repaired. Last year's winner, by the way, Jimmy Johnson, has been repaired. It's been on and off and on and off, and now back on pit road.
These guys have done a great job fixing this fender. They had some pretty good damage here. They came in here and worked on it, and Jimmy was smart enough to get it in the pits and not tear it, blow the tire out and tear up the fender even worse. So that's pretty impressive how good these guys have done here.
As you watch the repairs, let's check in his pits with Alan.
And Doc, this is the 4th pit stop under this caution flag. Right after he finished spinning and Jimmy grabbed a gear and got it pointed in the right direction, he came on the radio, said, "I don't think we've been damaged too badly. They've spent a lot of time working on that left front fender. So critical to keep that car glued to the racetrack in the corners. They're putting these patches on to try and cover the holes that have been poked in that fender after restoring the shape as best they could to it."
He leaves pit road carefully at 55 miles an hour. He is being shown now 1 lap down in 35th position. But remember, we do have the lucky dog, so he could get that lap back.
One thing I see here is they've got that left front fender shaped really, really good. I think that's even going to be better than it was when he started the race. This could even be an advantage for him right now, even though he is a lap down.
They are holding the 1 car. That is Martin Truex Jr., a single lap rusty for, quote, running the paddle.
Well, you get right down to the end of pit road, you're going for it. You're almost getting ready to get passed by the lap car, so if you go for it, and he just didn't make it that time. So now he's going to have to go for the lucky dog to get back in the ball game here.
The paddle is the stop sign the official holds at the end of pit road, saying stop, 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 and he didn't stop, so they held him until the pace car and the leaders came by. For you Jimmy Johnson fans, a year ago Johnson was back as far as 40th early in this race, and he went on to win it. So Jimmy, who is awfully good here, and Andy, you mentioned that fender isn't going to hurt him at all. If anything, it might help him.
Yeah, he's not out of it by any means, but he's going to have a race on his hands. He's got Martin Truex Jr. that's a lap down, Ricky Rudd. All these guys are going to be fighting for this lucky dog.
Green flag waves once again. Earnhardt Jr. takes them down into turn 1. Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, and Juan Pablo Montoya.
See the 1 car fighting these guys trying to get this lap back. Jimmy Johnson wasn't able to line up on the inside of that front row because he pitted without the pit road being open, so they make him start at the tail end of the longest line.
Look up in the middle of that straightaway, the 22 car, the Caterpillar car. That is a Toyota Camry. And Toyota got its very first win in NASCAR Busch Series competition last night at O'Reilly Raceway Park. Jason Leffler, first win for Toyota in the 22nd race they were in. Could Toyota be a factor today, guys?
Well, it definitely could. Toyota's got a strong engine package, and Bill Davis Racing with that 22 car, they're really starting to get their act together, and it looks real good.
And the only problem is they don't have many numbers of cars in the race, so their chances are not as good as they would be if they had about 3 or 4 more of those cars in the race. Here's Jeff Gordon making a pass on Martin Truex, the lap car.
Take a look at Tony Stewart right underneath Dale Jr. right now. Got him loose. Junior's up the racetrack and Stewart's underneath. He should have the track position, get down into turn 3, and he does.
Now, you said he got him loose. There was no contact. Was this all aero loose we're talking about?
Sure, it was all aero loose. You saw Tony Stewart get up behind the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. He wiggled a little bit. He went up the racetrack. Dale did. He shot underneath him. That's a classic case of aero loose, and you can manage that. Crash.
Another crash on the racetrack. 4 cars involved. Scott Riggs tries to avoid it. 25 of Casey Mears involved. The National Guard Chevrolet, another one of the Rick Hendry cars.
Another one of Ray Evernham's cars involved here, too. This is just real disappointing for him. I know the 19, Elliott Sadler, is involved in this.
So caution flies on lap 54. Here is
Johnny Sauter in the 70.
Have a junkyard down there, huh?
Tell you what, they've took out a lot of cars right now. And talking about Evernham a little bit, his 2 cars brought back last year's nose selection to try to get these teams back on track. And it appeared like it was working a little bit, but right now, they're really not going to know because they don't have anything to bring back home. You're looking at last year's Charger nose in that 19 car. Let's take a look at this replay.
Looks almost the same as the last wreck we saw. These 2 cars just getting together. Just not enough room for these other guys.
Guys, we talked earlier in our broadcast about you need to get single file down into turn 1 and into turn 3, and they're not completing these passes as they get in a corner. And you can see the 25 car of Casey Mears gets aero loose and gets up into the side of Johnny Sauter.
Just so hard to pass getting in the corner at this racetrack. You really have to start that pass off the corner and try to clear him on the straightaway.
Now from the onboard camera for Elliott Sadler, the Allstate onboard. Let's listen.
Clear, clear, all clear by 2. Picking up here. Come on the low side. Come on the low side. All right, get going when you can, man. Get going when you can. Get going when you can. 45 ran over us right there.
Guys, from a driver's perspective, getting down into turn 3, when you see him wrecking in front of you, you're just to change directions. Take a look at this. They're wrecking in front of you. He just tries to slow up. The 19 car does, and he just can't. Gets high in the racetrack. Elliott Sadler does, and that wreck happens. But it's all about aero loose getting in the corner.
We might mention that the 45 car, Kyle Petty, also involved in this incident. As you see the damage repair on Elliott Sadler. But early on here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it's been all Budweiser Chevrolet. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has led twice for 33 laps. Back in just a moment.
I might get the credit as the driver, but it was my crew chief, Todd Parrott, that had the idea. He said, come on, let's go. He said, we're going to the start-finish line. We need to kiss the bricks. He said, this is pretty special. It was just something fantastic, you know, and nice to know that we started a tradition and something that's been carried on.
Dale Jarrett had competed in all 13 of the races here at the Brickyard, but not this year as he failed to qualify. Some of the others, Jeff Gordon, a 4-time winner, and hasn't he been on the move? Jarrett's last win came in 1999. Bobby Labonte, he caught our buddy Rusty down the stretch. Jeff Gordon again, 2001, winning the Brickyard 400 and the championship. So keep in mind that 6 of our last 9 winners here, including Jimmy Johnson a year ago, have gone on to win the Cup championship. And Susie, it's not true that they are honoring the Allstate adjusters here at Indianapolis, but it just certainly seems that way.
Yeah, I'm wondering who's going to survive to be the next champ. 5 cautions, 5 lead changes. We'll get you caught up with the McDonald's race rundown. Start of the day belonged to Ganassi Sabatos, who owned the first row, 21-year-old Reed Sorensen on the pole.
Reed did a great job. He led him down the first corner, led the first lap. I know it's an outstanding moment for him, and he did a good job of taking the field around the track.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. had only led 13 laps here before today, but he's turned out 33.
Yeah, his car looks very, very good. Even though they've got a little damage on the left front air dam, I think he's still going to be a factor when it comes down to lap 160.
Lap 38. Big wreck off turn 1. Tony Raines and Casey Kane got tangled up.
Yeah, it looked like Casey just went down to the corner, got a little arrow loose. Tony Raines was on his outside. They couldn't avoid their accident, and they both got together and wiped each other out.
Even bigger wreck on lap 45. Jimmy Johnson involved in this one, and this one had huge implications for the chase for the Nextel Cup. Ryan Newman in 13th, 30 points behind Dale Jr. He got knocked out. Jimmy McMurray in 15th. He got knocked out. Carl Edwards, he's in 5th.
Yeah, there's a lot of things happening, and these guys are running so close. You just don't know exactly what's going to happen. You have to keep your eyes open all the time.
Also, rough day for Team Evernham. All 3 cars knocked out. And we'll be back, hopefully looking forward to green flag racing when we come back in Indianapolis.
And we welcome you back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Allstate 400 at the Brickyard. If you just joined our coverage, we have had 5 caution flags for a total of 33 laps, and folks, 18 cars have been involved. Good day to have car insurance here at the Allstate 400. As we will show you the cars, and there is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Earnhardt Jr. has led twice for 33 laps. Jeff Gordon coming from the back of the pack didn't qualify well, but passed 10 cars in just 11 laps. And one of the guys we talked about at the beginning of the day, Juan Pablo Montoya, the rookie who started on the outside of the front row and wanted here as a rookie in the Indy 500 back in 2000. And Mark Martin in the 0-1 car has had some troubles here today.
Tell you what, Mark Martin has had some troubles, a little bit complaining about a gearbox. But I tell you what, his car has been handling pretty good. He's worked himself all the way up in the 5th position right now. And he told us before this race, he said, I got a good car, guys. So wouldn't surprise me if he's got a shot to win this race, Jer.
Chevrolet Corvette pace car pulls off. And a couple of Chevrolet Monte Carlos up front. Tony Stewart with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Gordon, the top 3. Oh, what a great camera shot. Those cars flashed by at 180 miles an hour, just inches from the grass. As Tony Stewart's car, early on he was complaining the car would not turn. They've adjusted and adjusted and adjusted, and he went sailing by Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the 2nd spot. Now we got some smoke trailing off the damaged left front fender of the 48 car of Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, they're going to have to take a look at that right now. There might be the air dam, and it's going to grind itself off, or it could be a left front tire rubbing the fender. And if that's the case, you're going to have to hit pit road again.
It's not enough, looks like not enough bracing in that left front fender. The air's pushed it back against the tire. We can see it looked pretty good when he was in the pits, and so all that stuff, that bare bond they put on is blown off, and they don't have enough support. That thing's blowing in against the tire. They're going to have to work on it some more.
Well, Andy, as we're saying, it looks like the smoke is starting to stop now in the 48 car. It might have rubbed itself enough clearance, but he's got the bottom of the left front air dam kicked out pretty good, which gives you a lot of downforce. But a little farther up, it's in, which loses downforce. So it might balance itself out.
As long as it doesn't blow this tire out, it'll be okay until they can get in there and work on it a little bit more.
Spoken like a true.
Yeah, we don't see any smoke right now. So well, we do it now. And now we see some smoke. So he may have to get this looked at.
Side by side, and we see some parts and pieces coming off there, and obviously.
Guys, we just cut a tire and hit the wall pretty hard.
And you just said, as long as it doesn't blow this tire out, he may have a shot. But no, he just cut right into it and just slammed across the wall. And the points.
Okay, Jimmy?
Yeah, this is a hard lick for Jimmy. He had a hard lick 2 weeks ago at Chicago. He jumps right out. That's a good sign.
Jimmy Johnson 7th in the point standings. He is the reigning NASCAR Nextel Cup champion. He gets out of the car, but the car is ablaze here, and here come the safety crew.
Yeah, I tell you, it's a really smart decision on Jimmy Johnson. He knew the car was on fire. He jumped out. But guys, this is the problem you have when the pit crew doesn't fix the car the way it needed to be fixed. You know, they did the best job they possibly could. You take a look at his wife. She's calm. She knows her husband's out of the car. That's something, as a wife, it's got to be killing you. You're really concerned. But Jimmy looks good right now. He's took a big hit in the points, but I'm sure he's still going to be in the top 12, even though he's had this wreck.
And he's okay. I'm not sure that his wife Chandra is okay, because she has to sit and watch this and hear the reports on the radio when they ask him, are you okay, are you okay? What they didn't realize was he was already out of the car and couldn't respond to them on the radio. Now watch the middle of the screen coming down the back straightaway, the 48 of Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, we didn't see any smoke till we got to the end of the straightaway. It just instantly cuts this tire. You see it blow out, and all the pieces of rubber start flying everywhere. No control of this. So he just has to lock it down and ride it to the fence.
Folks, let me tell you the bad part about this. That tire blew out at the highest part of speed at the racetrack, close to 207 miles per hour. He blows that left front off, head on in the wall, and
you
it's
see him
just
winning that down while he was still wrecking right there. It's up against the wall.
Oh, that's a hard hit. Again, thank gosh for the soft wall, Jerry. We've had 3 bad wrecks. Ryan Newman, J.J. Yelly in practice, and now Jimmy Johnson this hard. And he said, you saw the window net come down. Good indication he's okay.
The safer barriers debuted here in 2002. They updated them in 2005. Onboard camera from Jeff Burton looking up. Oh my heavens, he says, when you're a driver, when you're a driver, you see that happen in front of you, and you got to just curl up in the seat.
Jerry, you really feel bad for somebody when he hit that hard, because like I said again, I'm going to tell you one more time, Hazard making pit stops right now, hard hit, over 200 when he crashed.
Let's go down to Mike Massaro.
And Jeff Gordon and Jeff Mandarin taking their cues from the 20 car. The call was to do exactly what Tony Stewart does. Then so they come down pit road. Gordon saying the car's pretty good until he starts wearing that right rear tire, and that's when it starts to get a little bit tight. A 4-tire change for Jeff Gordon. Alan?
You see Dale Jr. in the center of the picture. Just 2 left side tires to call by crew chief Tony Ewing Jr. Dave?
Right sides. That was a call from Greg Zipadelli. They hated to give up any track position, but when everybody else pitted, they realized then their option was to put on 4 or 2. They had to take 2 to keep with everybody else. It looks like they only got beat out by 1 car.
Juan Pablo Montoya gains 3 spots. You see the others as the race off pit road. And fuel only for the 42 of Montoya, the 3 spots. I got to ask you, Andy, what about 2 left side tires on the 8 car for Earnhardt Jr.?
I think they may want to work on that left front fender, and taking 2 tires was the call, and it may even change the handle of their car to be what they want it to be. They may want to change it by just putting left side tires on.
Well, we talked earlier, if these guys got enough confidence in the track right now that it's rubbering up and not hurting the tires, I'm telling you guys, I've been here many times, 2 tires isn't a bad deal.
Great pit work here in the 42 crew as they took fuel only, but they made an adjustment.
Yeah, they put that in the track bar. That's a track bar adjusting tool they have. That hole in the window, they take that thing and turn it 1 round, raise that track bar up about 1/8 of an inch.
So under caution for the 6th time a day, Juan Pablo Montoya having great pit work. Last time he was here, he dominated the day back in 2000 in the Indianapolis 500, driving for Chip Ganassi. Let's show you again what happened to last year's Brickyard 400 winner. The Allstate 400 winner, Jimmy Johnson, had damage on the left front fender early on in an incident, and then this happened up in the turn.
The car is just tearing itself apart right now. The left front fender exploded. Tim Brewer, what do you got down there, buddy?
Tell you what, Rusty, we can show you where the fuel pump's located on our Richard Childress Chevrolet engine right here. It's mounted on the right front corner, and what we're thinking happened there is when he hit the wall, it folded the frame rail up, it broke the fuel pump off, and that's probably what ignited the fire. But there again, when you look back, there was some oil lines there also. Looked like black fire. You got a better view than I do, Rusty. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think you're definitely right, Tim. That's a perfect explanation. He hit so hard it had to bend that frame rail and tear it up. But, you know, I believe, though, these guys might be running one of the mechanical fuel pumps, Randy. Now, if he is running that, the fire came from somewhere else.
Yeah, these Hendrick guys do run that cable-driven fuel pump in the trunk, so this could have very easily been an oil fire. And we see it was a big and very intense fire because it burnt the whole back of the car up.
All right, for more information on the parts and pieces that make these race cars, log on to ESPN.com, search word Tech Center. Got a great chance to see what happens when something breaks. Tim Brewer down in our ESPN Dish Tech Center. And this is what happened to the reigning NASCAR Nextel Cup champion, Jimmy Johnson, scurrying out. He's okay, but the car is not so good.
You can be driving down Georgetown and just see the back of the grandstands, and you can look through a couple different holes and see the track. I mean, just that much of it, you know, makes you go, wow, this is Indianapolis.
Exhilarating, but a little intimidating at the same time. It's just amazing what that place will do to you.
Special place. You drive in the facility and it just feels like that's sort of what racing's all about, the history of that speedway.
All the history, tradition of a great racetrack. Under caution here, Jimmy Johnson, by the way, treated and released at the Care Center. Let's visit now with our in-race reporter, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Dale Jr., Rusty Wallace, ESPN, you got us?
Yeah.
Man, looks like you had a car was not handling to your liking that time. You made some changes. You feel pretty good about those changes now?
I ain't got to try them out yet. We kind of went in one direction. It wasn't working out, or we got a little too loose. We're trying to turn the car a little bit, but we got a little too loose there, and we made adjustments kind of back toward where we were leading. But obviously, we've run a few laps since then. The track might have tightened up some. I'm a little worried about that, but we should be okay. We're in traffic. Going to be in dirty air. Try to do what we can to get around some of these guys and get some clean air.
All right, dude, you're looking great out there, man. We'll talk to you later.
Hey, Tony Jr., Andy up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Got you, Andy.
Hey, Tony, you got those left sides off. You really didn't get a build-up on the right sides to tell how your car's going there, but can you get any indication from taking those left sides off of how your car's handling?
Well, I mean, just go off Junior's feel. I mean, basically, the left side tires, I put an adjustment in both left there. He really didn't like, so we're in a situation where you ain't got many laps on your tires, so you just basically you're playing a fuel mileage game here, so you don't have to stop 2 more times. So I went ahead and took the advantage, just put the left on, get that adjustment out, and maybe the car will go back to life like it was earlier.
Okay, Tony, thanks for talking to us.
Again, Jimmy Johnson bringing out the yellow flag, has been in and out of the Care Center. In fact, he's Jamie Little just caught up with him. Jamie?
Well, the good news, he's been released, and he looks to be okay. Jimmy, how are you feeling?
I'm okay. The impact wasn't too bad. The flames kind of had me nervous. They were up inside the car, and I lost some eyelashes, and the side of my face got pretty hot in the process.
I could see your eyelashes are actually singed.
Yeah. That's the first time I've had flames inside the car, and it's kind of, at that point, you just want to get the car stopped, and I'm considering turning the belts loose, but I've got cars flying by me on both sides, and finally I got into the grass without anybody getting into me, and I could get out of the car.
Did you have indication that that was eventually going to happen with that tire rub?
The tire rub, we came in and tried fixing it, and I think the brace that we put on came off going down the back straightaway. I heard something go underneath the car, and I could smell some tire smoke real quick, and then boom, the tire was down and into the wall it went.
All right, guys, Jimmy Johnson, good news is he's okay. Bad news, he will not be defending his Brickyard 400 title, guys.
Jamie, a day that Jimmy Johnson will not want to remember. Last year was one he would always want to remember. Involved in an 8-car melee early on, trying to weave his way through. Got some damage on the car. They came in and tried to pound that left front fender out. Did a good job of getting it buckled out, but it wasn't quite good enough because it rubbed the tire. And the next thing you know, boom, into the wall. Heavy contact. Flames erupt. Jimmy Johnson is out and okay, but the car is pretty used up. Jimmy Johnson, the first 12 events of the year, well, couldn't ask for much better. 4 wins, 8 top 5s, but the 7 races since, they have struggled. And you see where he is in the point standing, 7th coming in here, and this finish here today will not help him at all as we move toward the chase. Getting set for the green flag here. Great aerial coverage from high above this massive facility, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, brought to you by our good friends at Goodyear, helping NASCAR drivers get to the finish line for the past 25 years. Many drivers were on and off pit road. Some of those who did not pit included our current leader, Kyle Busch, in the 5-car. And, of course, behind him, Brian Vickers in the 83 car did not pit. There's Matt Kenseth in the 17 car, the same car he finished second with here a year ago. Martin Truex, who had that penalty earlier, had to go to the back of the pack and is now driven all the way up toward the front 5. Scott Riggs, who's dodged a couple of near misses, involved in a short little shunt with some mild sheet metal damage, finds himself in 5th spot overall. There's Juan Pablo Montoya back in 6th. The 88 car of Ricky Rudd on the inside. Rudd, a former Allstate 400 winner. Hayes' car will pull away. Kyle Busch stayed on the racetrack, as did the Toyota of Vickers. Vickers wants to be the first Toyota to lead at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The question is, does he have enough oomph to get by the 5 car as they head to green? Kyle Busch pulls away. There's the 17 car trying to make a move.
The 17 car, he made a good pass on the inside. That's the way you got to do it to keep him getting aero loose. He gets in front of Brian Vickers and starts to stretch it out now. 3 wide going down the back straightaway to 31 of Jeff Burton on the inside.
Burton makes it work, slides up, well, almost slides up in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr., but he's now on the inside of the 20 car.
Tell you what, guys, that was 3 veterans going into turn 3, and that's the reason that worked. Those guys are smart. They understood how the air works, and they played it to their advantage.
And guess who's coming? Kevin Harvick on the left side of your screen. Got a big picture of Elvis on the hood of that Chevrolet.
Tell you what, don't count this 29 car of Kevin Harvick out right now. I'll tell you what, we haven't talked about him much. We're only 68 laps in this 168 lap race, 160 lap race. And what about that 07 car? He's back in the game right now. That engine he had to replace is probably one of the strongest in Richard Childress Racing right now, Andy. Childress is awful strong, happy with his engines.
Let's check in with Alan Bestwick.
Actually, this is a nice recovery for Clint Boyer because back on the caution at lap 51, NASCAR made him pit to fix a piece of metal that had come loose on the car that another competitor was complaining about. They had not planned on pitting that caution. Well, then when everybody else pitted, they decided to take advantage with a little strategy, try and get some of their track position back. Oh, and he's been able to miss all the wrecks, too.
Boy, Jeff Gordon, a near miss there a moment ago, just trying to get to the inside. Almost had some sheet metal contacts with Denny Hamlin, as is Carl Edwards, who was involved in an incident early on and got just a little bit of damage on the front of the car.
Sure, that 99 car's got a little bit of damage in a right front headlight door. That's about it. And I don't believe that's going to cause much problem, but, you know, we can't count him out either, even though he was in that wreck.
A moment ago, Jeff Gordon, the 4-time winner here, a close call with Denny Hamlin.
A lot of these guys are stacking up right there, and you see Denny Hamlin was just basically trying to protect his spot and keep Jeff from passing him, and Jeff does get by him, but then Denny passes him back, and now he's passing Ricky Rudd, another lap car. And that 11 car has had a strong horse really from the start of the race, but he got that penalty early and had to make up a lot of ground for
with more on Denny Hamlin, let's check in with Dave.
Yep, Dine's trying to work his way back up through the field, and he's been working well, even though this is only his second year here all weekend long. He's been improving. Mike Ford said last year, from the test on through the race, we improved a little bit each time Denny got on the track. He said same trend this weekend. That's what Denny's been doing, and so our mode has been, don't panic. Denny will get there, and we'll get the car there to match him, as now he goes by Earnhardt Jr.
Well, Hamlin, we know he's getting better, thanks, Dave, but what about the 8 car, Earnhardt Jr.?
He's definitely fading right here, and I think they may be kind of reconsidering this left side tire change, because it may have upset their handling just a little bit, something they probably didn't expect, but he's definitely going the wrong way.
Well, Andy, I tell you what, I really firmly believe that the left front fender is causing some type of problem with this car. They probably need to really address this. You can't afford to give up any downforce on the front end here at Indianapolis, and that's given some time up. They got to get this fixed.
And one thing I heard them talking about, they said they got too loose. And this track's going to be tightening up the whole way here, and maybe they made that adjustment to tighten the car back up right as the track could have been tightening up, and so it could have been the wrong adjustment at the wrong time.
That's right. There's 2 ways to look at this. If they have the left front corner of their car coming up, that can pull the wedge out of the car and make it loose also. 2 problems can happen. He can lose the front and make it loose. Not just one thing happens, folks. 2 things can happen here.
Earnhardt Jr. takes the 11th spot away. As we move back up toward the front, Matt Kenseth in the 17, Juan Pablo Montoya in the 42.
You got to take a look at Juan Montoya, guys. This guy has been strong. His Felix Sabates Chip Ganassi car has been strong from the start of this race. And here's a guy that qualified well, but I really didn't expect to race real well because he's never on a stock car here before.
I talked to him last night in the motor coach lot, and just the look in his eye is telling me how much he wants to win this race. He's not real loud about it. He's real quiet about it, but he really wants to win this race.
72 of 160 laps. We are just 8 laps away from the halfway point, and for the first time today, a 22-year-old from Las Vegas, Nevada, Kyle Busch, is the leader, the young man trying to pull it off for Hendrick Motorsports.
NASCAR NASCAR Nextel Cup Allstate 400 at the Brickyard, brought to you by Sprint. Enter the Sprint Speed Million sweepstakes presented by Motorola at sprint.com/speed. Vitamin Water, it works for Casey Kane. And rugged and reliable Panasonic Toughbook laptops.
Well, guess what? We are under yellow for the 7th time today. Here on lap number 75, debris on the racetrack at the entrance to pit road, and that will have these guys here. Rick Monroe waving the yellow flag, the NASCAR flagman there, for the 7th time this afternoon.
This is a huge break for the 5-car Kyle Busch. They did pit under that last caution, and they'd kind of miscalculated their fuel window a little bit, so they were going to have to pit within about 2 or 3 laps. And so this is a huge break for them.
As a crew chief, how can you take that kind of gamble? The caution was out on lap 62. You know you could make it to 75, 78. I guess, are you thinking about how many yellows we've had and that maybe yellows breed yellows?
Well, I'm thinking that the track position is so valuable that you're going to try to roll the dice a little bit to get it. But that was rolling the dice pretty heavy there because it wasn't giving them enough window of green flag racing. But it's a big track. They can maybe get in and get out without losing a lap.
Let's check in his pits with Alan.
Well, the real quick answer to that question, Doc, is they weren't gambling. They miscalculated. You know that whole forget to carry the one thing? They miscalculated when they did the number on what lap they would have to stop. It's a simple math mistake that got them in that box that this caution's helping get them out of.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, huh, guys?
Yeah, I was up here with my calculator when everybody stayed out. Those few cars stayed out. And I was thinking, well, they're going to have to pit here about lap 78, maybe lap 80. And I was wondering if my calculation was right, but I guess it was.
I got to believe right now this track is rubbering up enough that we're going to see some more 2-tire changes, right side changes, because I think these guys are learning now that this track position is everything in the world.
Well, pit road could be very lonely for the 5-car. I don't know how many of them will come on the pit road. We definitely know that Kyle Busch has to get there. We mentioned he did not pit, neither did Brian Vickers a moment ago in the 83 car, the Toyota, but here comes the 5-car. 31 pulls back out, so does Harvick, and others decide to come on the pit road.
We've seen these guys do that in a Busch race that we did one time and fake Kyle Busch. Same cars involved. It was Jeff Burton and Kevin Harvick.
Let's go down to Allen.
And so Kyle Busch going to try and take advantage of that lucky break when they had the miscalculation. The caution going to bail him back out of it. It'll be a 4-tire change. See the wrench in the right rear side. Going to try and make a track bar adjustment to help him with the handling of the car. The front end grip is what's lacking on this 5 machine. By the way, they're also starting to do their math calculations from here to the finish on fuel to see how far they can go and if they can do it on one more stop.
All right, great pit work down there. Thanks a lot, Alan Bestwick, covering the pit stop and get it. Whoa, some contact on pit road. A couple of cars coming out. The 07 and the 2 car nearly had door-to-door contact exiting the pits.
Jerry, this is one of the narrowest pit roads. Oh my gosh, look at the whole back end of the 2 car. Now, Andy, I remember Charlotte a couple years ago when Jeff Gordon lost his rear bumper, his car actually ran faster. This isn't a bad thing, I don't think.
Yeah, I knew where you were going with this. This could actually be an aerodynamic advantage to lose that tail panel. But I'm sure he didn't want to lose it this way.
Thanks, NASCAR. Appreciate it. We look really good right now.
Here's Clint Boyer leaving the 2 car coming in, and he got from the front end from the back, got a sandwich from the 33.
Scott Wimmer got the worst of this. You can see his right front tires aimed the wrong way. He got into that concrete wall trying to avoid this, and looks like he got the worst of this.
Yeah, he's got the front of his car. Just watch this, Andy. Oh, I'm telling you what, that is a hard hit. That's a hard hit.
That's been some tie rods and some of the front suspension. They'll have to work on that.
Jerry, when you saw that right front tire go up in the wall and stop, and when a tire stops and that car is still going forward, you know it's tweaked a lot of the suspension, bent a lot of the components. So something that small that he had no idea was going to happen could put him out of this race.
And Kyle Busch's crew talking to the NASCAR officials about NASCAR has an official in every single pit there to let you know what's happening if you're doing everything right, or more importantly, if you do something wrong. They try to tell you not to make a mistake if you're over the line, I guess, Andy, to understand what's going on. Now, the 24 car of Jeff Gordon has been racing with the 11 car of Denny Hamlin. You know, air is such an important part of what you do on racetracks like Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Air can help you or hurt you when it comes trying to make a pass. Guys, let's take a look at our draft tracks.
Now you take a look at the Jeff Gordon in the front. You see Denny Hamlin in the blue air. That's the dirty air. Now he gets down underneath him in the clean air, and he gets more pressure to his nose. The front end turns better, and he makes the pass.
We've been hearing these guys talking about running in this dirty air, and this is a good illustration of that. You can see how this turbulent this air is coming off these two cars, and how Denny Hamlin's seeking that clean air down on the bottom.
Now you take a look at Carl Edwards in the back. He's in the draft right now behind Jeff Gordon in that blue air. That's going to give him straightaway speed, but that's going to hurt his cornering capability. So good illustration out of draft track there.
The 11 car, Denny Hamlin.
Tell you what, there's a guy that started in the back of the pack, had all these problems. He's worked his way back up to 15th. He's been as high as about 10th position. And through this series of pit stops, he's been working on the car. He's back in 15th right now. But, Jerry, there was one time when he was about 39th through a penalty he got earlier. So he's looking pretty good. He's back in the hunt now.
Well, with Tony Stewart leading this race and Juan Pablo Montoya second, let's take a look at our AT&T Crew Chief Challenge. And which former Indy 500 starter has the best chance to win today? If you want to cast a vote, you can text crew to 191 from your AT&T wireless phone. Standard text message rates will apply.
Can I pick one? I'm going to pick C. Okay, I'm going to pick C. That's my guess right there.
I'm sure all four of them will get some votes.
Montoya's running second, though. He could be good. You know, it looks like Stewart's first, Montoya's second. Hey, what are you going to pick, B or C, Jared?
I don't know. I got to hold my vote. I'm withholding my vote.
All right, no problem.
I'll text in a moment here. We are 2 laps away from the halfway point, folks. We're almost halfway home. We've had a rash of yellow fever, 7 yellow flags. We want to get some green flag racing in and see what's going to happen up front. Stewart has won this race before. Montoya has won the Indy 500 before. Behind them, Matt Kenseth, who has finished second here twice. They're going to come down and jump in that throttle and take the green flag. Jeff Burton wasting no time to make a move. That's the orange car top of your screen. And behind him, or on the inside of him, is his teammate Kevin Harvick.
And you see Jeff Burton, he just went and pulled down too hard on Harvick right there. He knew his teammate was under his left rear quarter panel, didn't want to get tagged to get loose, but now they've got themselves back in line now.
And take a look at the one car. Remember, he was held a lap earlier for not identifying the stop paddle at the end of pit road. He lost a lap, got the free pass, and now he is back in it, Jamie.
What an up and down topsy-turvy day for Martin Truex Jr., guys. He had that penalty of speeding down pit road, came back in. He was doing okay, working his way back up, and then he came in and pitted, and they said that the pace car beat him, so that naturally put him a lap down. Well, then, with that Jimmy Johnson incident, they got the lucky dog. So Martin Truex got back on the lead lap. He's fighting his way back up, 6th right now, but the trick is he stayed out the last 2 caution flags. The team thinks they're going to be just fine with the way this race is unfolding. So far, so good right now for Martin Truex Jr., running 6th, and he started 33rd.
Talk about showing some strength here the last month or so. The Dale Earnhardt Incorporated cars. Truex, the top of those. He is 6th overall. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 9th. You see now the new team additions. Mark Martin, by the way, back in there. Paul Menard, who got some owner's points from the Ginn merger, also there in the top 25.
Tell you what, I totally agree with Martin Truex in a one car standing out for track position. But Andy, you know, the fuel mileage is so important right here. And the distance these guys can run, 30 to 35 laps. Was that a mistake?
Well, we've got a few different strategies going on right here. I think that they got enough window right now to take them out quite a few green flag laps. Nobody can make it on one more stop anyway here, so I think everything will shake out with it, and I'm sure we're going to have another caution. We've seen plenty of caution flags today.
All right, one of the drivers involved in an accident earlier in the afternoon, Casey Mears, standing by with Alan Bestler.
Casey Mears back here in the garage where he doesn't want to be. Casey, what happened?
I was the 43 and I were both trying to get by the 70, and I think I was just tucked up too close behind the 43 when we went into the braking zone, and my car just went straight, and I got into the 70 and kind of started that whole deal. Didn't mean to. We were just kind of taking it easy because we got in the back. Just wanted to pick off one at a time, and I feel bad for everybody that was involved there. Just kind of unexpected, I guess. I wanted to go in there and just kind of follow the 43, and when I went in there, my front end just went straight. So I think it's because I was so close to him, I just didn't have the air in my nose. But I hate it for Johnny and Elliott Sadler and everybody that was involved. The National Guard Chevrolet was pretty good. We were loose. Got caught speeding on the exit of pit road there, and it got us in the back. And we're just going to try to take our time and make our way through there. And really wasn't trying to be aggressive. I wasn't trying to get more out of it. It just kind of caught me off guard a little bit. I think I was too close to the 43.
Sorry, Ralph.
All right, this happened back on lap 54. The accident he's talking about, Sadler, Mears, Johnny Sauter.
You can see, gets down in the corner to 38 car. David Gilling's behind him. Maybe got him a little loose on entry, but then he got really loose when he got alongside Johnny Sauter. And then all havoc breaks loose. You know, we've been showing you guys dirty air on draft track all day long, and our draft track is correct. You really got to understand how to work the air to your advantage, especially at a track like this where it's so flat.
That's a perfect example of when the air can work against you right there.
Tell you what, the guy I've been taking a look at was Dale Earnhardt Jr. Now his last lap of 53.68. Well, get a load of this. Tony Stewart's rocking it around there at 52.30s. Dale's almost a second off the pace. They're going to have to work on this car. And if they're going to get back in the hunt, they're going to have to fix his fender, maybe right side this thing, get some track position, something. As a crew chief, what type of call would you make right now under this circumstance?
They're going to have to make some kind of adjustment here to try to catch these guys. And they haven't had very many opportunities to adjust on the car, but I guarantee there'll be wrenches flying when he pits next time.
The 29 car, Kevin Harvick, he was able to go by his teammate, top of your screen, that's a 31 of Burton a moment ago. Now he has gone by the 17 of Matt Kenseth. Harvick now being shown as high as he has been all day long in third position.
Jerry, I see a lot of different cars now coming back to the front of this pack right now. These lead cars, Tony Stewart, Juan Montoya. Look at the big lead that Stewart's got now. And one thing I want to remind everybody of right now, this track changes big time. These grooves are really rubbering up with rubber, and the more rubber it gets down, the tighter these cars get, and these teams are going to have to start making big adjustments. But it looks like Stewart doing the best job of it right now.
Tony Stewart's got his car dialed in. He's got that clean air on the front end. Some of these other guys, I'm sorry, Jerry, some of these other guys are going to have to start adjusting on their cars to catch them.
Momentum is so important. Tony Stewart had gone 20 races without a win, and then last time out at Chicagoland in this very car, he led over 100 laps, and it's running awfully well again here today. We welcome you back to the Allstate 400 at the Brickyard here in Speedway, Indiana, the historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Here's a look at our lap leaders after 88 of 160 laps, presented by Ford. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has led the most laps. He has led twice today for 33 laps. Tony Stewart has led 4 times, and he is currently the leader with 24 laps in the books. Reed Sorensen, the pole sitter, led the first 16. And we have yet another yellow flag here for debris on the racetrack. This would be the 8th yellow of the day.
They're saying the cautions for debris in the front straightaway. Try to get on that and find out where it's at right now. But I'll tell you, NASCAR's got a great way. Many cameras up against the wall. Tell you what's a good call, because you don't want to run into debris in the front straightaway. It's right about the flag stand. If you hit that, man, you're going to blow a tire out like Jimmy Johnson did, and we don't need that.
The problem with all this debris on the racetrack is all these cars that have been involved in these wrecks. They patch them up and send them back out there. See one going by right there, all taped up. There's another one. So you see all this debris that flies off the cars, and that's what's causing these cautions.
Yeah, one guy who didn't mind this yellow flag at all was the 21 car of Bill Elliott. He got the free pass, and so will be able to get back on the lead lap, and that puts us now with 32 cars on the lead lap.
So right now, I think this is a great opportunity for Dale Jr. There's 71 laps to go in this race. I would take the time right now, fix his car, get himself back in the game, because these track conditions are definitely changing. This track is definitely tightening up.
And one key thing is most of these guys, if not all of them, can make it on one more pit stop from here.
The average pit window, 34 to 35 laps, so one more stop from here. And again, these adjustments, these guys probably didn't want to see a yellow flag. They were just checking out Tony Stewart's bunch, but Juan Pablo Montoya has gotten stronger and stronger. You know, he's a good road racer, but he has not won on an oval, although he had some success early on at Mexico City in the Busch Series car, but that was on a road course.
Oh, it's big, you know. We got this one out of the way now, and, you know, the next one we need to win in an oval. I want to win in an oval. You know, that's where we need to be good.
Juan Pablo Montoya has had success in a lot of different venues. He won the Indianapolis 500 back in 2000, dominating as a rookie driver. The Grand Prix of Monaco, the crown jewel of the Formula One circuit in 2003. At Mexico City, stop number 7, his 7th start in a NASCAR Busch car. Only his 17th career start in a NASCAR Nextel Cup car in Infineon. And today, he makes his 21st career start ever in the car owned by Chip Ganassi and Felix Sabates, trying to get his first oval track win.
Guys, I tell you what, I don't know if you agree with what I'm about to say, but he has definitely exceeded my expectations. Montoya has been in the top 5 ever since this racetrack started, since this race has started.
All right, pit stops are going to become the order of the day here under the 8th caution flag. And major adjustments for a number of cars, including the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr., who was so good early on, but had drifted back now to the 8th position. They're headed down to you, Jamie Little.
And Martin Truex Jr., as we were talking about, big sigh of relief for this team. They were just 3 laps away from having to pit. As I said, they stayed out those last 2 cautions. Martin Truex comes into his pit box. Just going to do 1 round down on that track bar, make a small air pressure adjustment, take some right sides there and fuel, go over to the left side, take 2 more tires. Let's go down to Mike.
There may be a little bit of pressure on the 29 over-the-wall crew after the last stop. Kevin Harvick came over the radio complaining that they were losing spots on pit road. This one, though, very clean, 4 tires and fuel.
Juan Pablo Montoya's crew chief Donnie Wingo says they're very close on the chassis. They're not going to win the race off pit road here, though, Dave.
Tony Stewart's going to try. He's not going to do it either. Just a 4-tire stop with a little air pressure out of the right rear, just a tick loose. They didn't want to change it much. They didn't want to change their track position either, but that's what happened.
So many various pit strategies. There's the race off of pit road. Greg Biffle's bunch gaining 14 spots. David Gilliland driving for Robert Yates up 14. Clint Boyer 16 positions. They were the big winner here in this stop.
Just like we talked about at the beginning of the show, is taking chances and rolling the dice. These guys are taking a chance by getting 2 tires, no tires, fuel only. They want that track position. And here's the crew cam off the 5 car. Fuel carrier and tire catcher. He's trying to catch these tires as they come off the car so they don't bounce out into the racetrack.
Great pit work for Ron Sipka and company. For Kyle Busch, back with a green flag at Indianapolis in a moment. Back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, working caution number 8 on the afternoon here. We just have 68 laps to go at this 14th annual Allstate 400 at the Brickyard. Beautiful shots from high above. This racetrack courtesy of the good friends at Goodyear, helping NASCAR drivers get to the finish line for the past 25 years. There is fluid on the racetrack. We were getting set to go to green, and the spotters around here noticed some fluid coming out of one of the cars. We just had the 00, by the way, David Rudeman, come down pit road because of smoke in the cockpit. There's where the fluid came from, out of the 00. So we will take a few more laps, take a break, and come back with a green in just a moment.
Jeremy McGrath is going to be competing in the X Games, I am told, and next year he'll take a shot at the Busch Series. Well, here we are at the Brickyard. And a stat to keep in mind that the fellas reminded you of earlier today. 6 of our last 9 winners here have gone on to capture the Cup Championship. Jimmy Johnson, of course, has been knocked out because of the fire, so we will not have a repeat champion here today before a crowd of 250,000, Susie, and there's not a seat to be had here.
That's for sure. And this is one of those races. You win it, you get the attention of the garage area. Let's focus on Greg Biffle, who's the leader right now, who brought a new car to Indy this weekend. So do you think he's really for real right now?
Haven't really seen him show that right now throughout the race. But a lot of things happen later as this race goes on. We heard Rusty talk about the track really rubbering up, so Greg may have his car where he wants it now. He may have been so loose earlier that now it's just starting to come around.
This would be a huge shot in the arm for Greg, too. He has a new crew chief this year, and they've struggled this year, both in the Busch Series and the Cup Series. So hope he can stay out front and get lead some laps and maybe get some confidence. You never know what can happen.
Well, one thing we've also seen is this race has a way of propelling drivers into that chase for the Nextel Cup Championship, and Biffle right now is 16th. Man, could this do a lot for his season?
Well, it really could, especially with Ryan Newman going out today, and Carl Edwards is having some problems. Jimmy Johnson's had some problems, but that 12th place spot could be up for grabs as time goes on if they continue to chop away at it.
Hey, for the insight on Greg Biffle, let's go to Dave.
And Susie, he may get swallowed up at this restart. It's been a hard day for Greg Biffle. Radio didn't work at the start of the race, so when his car was flying the nose and absolutely hard to control, he radioed into his crew chief, Greg Irwin, on what to do, but Greg couldn't hear him. So, and they finally got a pit stop to work on things. They closed off the front shocks. They got that car to settle back down again. Greg just told me that he thinks, I still only think we have like a top 10 car, but we had to put the car out front in clean air to see what it would do. And if they can maintain that top 10, that's a lot better than they were earlier in the race.
And guys, as we know, this race is just chock full of former Brickyard winners.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the interesting thing, too, we're getting down to 65 laps to go. We've spent so much time under caution, but you see all the winners here: Kevin Harvick, Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, Bill Elliott, Ricky Rudd, Jimmy Johnson. And it's just outstanding field, and hopefully we're going to get some green lap run here so we can watch the race.
And, of course, Jeff Gordon is in elite company. He's won it 4 times. This will be his drive for 5.
You know, it's just such a great feeling to experience what it's like to win in Indy.
Jeff Gordon, winner of the inaugural Brickyard 400.
It's awesome. I mean, you know, they're gritty and there's rubber and dirt and sand and everything else, and you don't care one bit. And it's extremely special to get that opportunity.
We welcome you back to the historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Laps are winding down in the Allstate 400 at the Brickyard. 8th caution flag of the day is complete. We are set for the green flag. And Greg Biffle, who had his troubles early on today, will lead him down for the first time today on the green flag.
This is the first time all day we've seen whether the 2 tires are going to work. You got Biffle on 2 tires, Stewart on 4. We expect he's going to run up and just chew him up. But can Biffle hold on for a while and can maintain that track position?
The top 3 cars, Biffle, the 07 of Boyer, and David Gilliland, all 3 only took on 2 tires. For more on Gilliland, let's check in with Jamie.
Yes, and David Gilliland making his first appearance here at the Brickyard, but his crew chief is Todd Parrott. Parrott knows all about winning here as he went to victory lane with Dale Jarrett. It's actually Todd that started the trend of kissing the bricks after a win. So he knows how to get it done. They came in on that last pit stop. David took right sides only. Car is good. The team feels like they can get the job done. Let's go to Dave.
Well, Jamie, whenever Tony Stewart comes to the Brickyard, there's a little pressure on him. He got rid of some of that pressure a couple years ago when he won here, but he tries to find ways to relax, and that often includes busting on his crew. He did so with crew chief Greg Zipadelli, who might sound a little nervous as well.
Pops, can we get you a pillow or anything? Look like you're one step away from just being real super comfortable up there. Doing everything I can to try and relax there. Yeah, me too.
They know they've got a race car that can win this race. They just have to stay calm. Zippy is now in the unrelaxed position, taking notes, trying to figure out how to chase this racetrack to make that 20 car the fastest at the end. Doc?
Gotta love the humor from Tony Stewart. Hey, Zippy, are you comfortable up there, buddy? You need a pillow?
Zippy's just trying to act calm. He's not calm. He's just trying to put on that face. Inside, he's going, oh, man, what am I going to do next? We got another pit stop coming up. He's got all these things going through his head, and so he's just trying to put on a good face.
You know what that tells me, though? When you hear Stewart being that relaxed and that humorous here with 61 laps to go, that tells me he knows he has got one good hot rod.
But I'll tell you one thing Zippy's doing right now. He's taking a look at Greg Biffle on those 2 right side tires to see if it's going to work for him late in the race.
He's got a little bit of a skirt flapping here. This is a side skirt that these guys use to take the sides all the way down to the racetrack, and they actually grind on the track. This one here has come loose, maybe banged against one of those rumple strips like we saw. Yeah, we see some damage on the front of the car too, so he may have hit one of those strips on the inside of the racetrack. Dave, have you got more on Greg Biffle?
Yeah, nothing right now on that, guys. They haven't complained about it right now, or they pointed it out to Greg, but that's not a big issue. Think about what he did last night, though, at O'Reilly Raceway Park here in the same town. I stopped Greg in the garage today, and he told me, you know what, last night I had a 10th place car at best. I found a place to run on that small track where my car would work that I'd never run before. He brought the car home second. He put on a great show, and he may be looking for a spot to run this 16 car today that will give him the same opportunity at the end of this race.
He's able to hold the lead right now. His car looks pretty strong out there in that clean air. Just kind of a little bit worried about that flapping piece of aluminum on the side.
I'll tell you what, right now, guys, Biffle just ran a 51.64 on speed compared to Tony Stewart's 51.78, so he's about a 1/10 of a half faster than Tony. That's how big this clean air is. NASCAR, we're hearing right now in the next pit stop, is going to make Greg Biffle fix that air dam. Next, they're not going to let that thing flop around any longer. They're going to give them to the next stop.
All right, for exactly how and what they'll have to do, let's check in down in our ESPN Ditch Tech Center with our crew chief, Tim Brewer.
Thanks, Jerry. What they're going to have to do is either rivet the thing back, but in my opinion, they're going to cut the thing off closest to the next rivet right there, let the rest of it go by the wayside. They're going to give up a little bit of aero, but not enough to waste the time and lose the track position here at Indy.
Thank you, Tim, very much. Looking at our Chevy cutaway car, you see exactly what they're going to have to do, although it'll be on a Ford when he comes down pit road for Greg Biffle.
The thing that concerns me is it's going to take some time for these guys to fix that. They better be getting a plan together to cut that off quick so it doesn't cost them any track position.
Yeah, and he better be getting a plan together for that 29 car that's coming in a hurry. The 29 of Kevin Harvick has not led today. Started in the middle of the pack, kept coming to the front, is on the march now, has narrowed that lead to about 4 car lengths.
Well, just then the last time by, Kevin Harvick had the fastest car in the field at that time. And Biffle is back and forth. It's proven to me right now pretty good on the 2 tires, but you see him loose off at turn 4, Andy.
Greg Biffle drives the car harder than anybody I've ever seen. We can see him up on the steering wheel here, trying to hold the lead. Kevin Harvick's going to take it away from him right here, and we got Tony Stewart back there stalking these two.
There's the man, Richard Childress, owns the Kevin Harvick car, owns the 31 car of Jeff Burton, the 07 of Boyer. Mike?
You know, Doc, I had an interesting conversation with Kevin Harvick's crew chief, Todd Barrier, this morning, talking a little bit about the coil bind setup. He said that back in 2002, they were one of the first teams to start experimenting with that kind of setup. They brought it here in 2003, and he credits that for winning the Brickyard their first time. He said this year they still feel like they're on top of the game when it comes to coil bind, and he said that this weekend Kevin has felt like his car is as good as it was back in 2003 when he went to victory lane.
His car does look good. The only problem is Tony Stewart's looks just a little bit better. These Childress cars do have a good handle on that coil bind setup. We talk about it all the time. This coil bind setup we're talking about is when you try to run these super soft springs in the front of the car. And the reason we do that is so you go through this NASCAR tech inspection and you have to meet a certain height. And so these guys put these soft springs in there, get the car height up, but when you take the car on the racetrack, the air pushes the car down and the banking forces push the car down, and then this shock holds that car in what we call coil bind. We see that spring compressed all the way, and we call that coil bind. And it holds it really low on the racetrack all the way around, and then when the car slows down, comes back into the tech height, it comes right back up. And for more on this, we'll go right down to Tim Brewer in the Tech Center.
Hey, thanks, Andy. We've got this illustration that Andy came up with back some years ago. This, folks, is the installed inspection height spring right here. But believe it or not, when the car's in compression, meaning the air dam's all the way down, this is what the spring actually looks like setting inside the spring bucket, and that enables the front of the car to come down, makes a tremendous amount of downforce, and this is ultimate coil binding.
Tim, that is great. And Andy, you developed that?
No, that's my spring he's holding right there, the one that's all compressed. That's the one we used to use to make all the spring buckets so we could maximize that coil bind setup. These guys have evolved that whole setup now where they have a manufacturing process for all these arms just so they can make that all work.
Well, guys, right now at the 16 car, Greg Biffle is really falling back right now on those 2 right side tires. Harvick and Stewart have basically checked out. So right now is how long can Biffle maintain on the 2 tires for track position? And that's what the key thing is right now. But right now it doesn't look like it's working for him.
He rolled the dice to get the track position, and now he knows how his car acts out front. if he could ever get some tires on the car, maybe and make an adjustment, he might be able to make something happen with it.
But the good news for Greg Biffle is that everyone's going to have to make one more pit stop. Come on the pit road. Kevin Harvick showing the way here with just 55 laps to go.
Kevin Harvick, who won at Daytona, is now our leader here at Indianapolis. He stands only 8th in the chase points, but he has earned over $5 million because of that strike at Daytona. Only 2 drivers have put together wins at Daytona and here in the Brickyard in the same year. Dale Jarrett, one of them, who has joined us in the broadcast team, the other one a year ago, Jimmy Johnson. And right now, Doc, it is some duel for the lead with Tony Stewart right on his bumper.
As you watch these 2 cars just chasing each other with 50 laps to go, we've had contact with the 40 car, David Strimmy. And he's gotten into the concrete. And here comes Tony Stewart looking to the inside of Harvick and just drives it right on by.
And Harvick knows he can't hold him off going at the corner. He real wisely backed out of him. He's going to try him again, though. Backing out of the throttle. No, he's staying with him. But he's got that clean air to his right rear quarter panel to keep him tight. If he had got up side by side, there could have been a problem there.
I think these guys are testing each other right here. We see Tony Stewart moving around on the straightaway, trying to move out of the draft. And we see Kevin Harvick. He's trying. He got past, let him go, played a little give and take. And then he's trying to see where he can maybe pounce on him later.
Now, these 2 guys got a pretty good relationship. Kevin Harvick owns the Busch team that Tony Stewart drives for occasionally, so they have a lot of respect for each other. They're good friends off the racetrack, and so you expect that they're going to work with each other during the race.
They're going to have a little fun right now, but they're not going to be doing this kind of give and take at the end.
Let's show you what happened a moment ago to the 40 car of David Strimmy.
Guys, it looks like he got in the corner, got a little loose, got the left front corner low on the track, lost it and chased it clear up the racetrack, Andy, with the rear end out, and got in the wall. You can see that car not handling on entry.
This track's so narrow that you just don't have enough room to catch a car when it does that. Some of these big wide racetracks with a lot of banking, you can just chase the car up the hill, but you don't have that room here.
Tony Stewart is our leader, so why don't we go up to speed, get our sprint up to speed updates from the pit, starting with Dave Burke.
And Jerry, when you've been to victory lane 30 times like Tony Stewart has, it can become a routine thing, but it's never passé. And when this team won 2 weeks ago in Chicagoland, it was cause for celebration. Talked to a crew member this morning who said it was big for 2 reasons. We won in 2007 for the first time, and we went to Indy without the monkey on our back that we hadn't won yet this year. That's important for this driver at this track. Mike?
If Kevin Harvick goes to victory lane today, this team can point to the pit stop they made on lap 39 as one of the key moments. Prior to that, Kevin was very upset with the race car, saying it was pushing like a dump truck. They pulled the spring rubber from the left rear, and the car has come to life. Alan?
Man on the move right now in this section of the race is Kyle Busch. He was shuffled back to 11th on that lap 77 strategy shuffle when they took 4 tires and other people got fuel only or just 2 tires. He is charging his way through the field. He's up to 3rd place now. He just took that spot away from Juan Pablo Montoya, who today became the first man to run in all 3 major races here in Indy. The Indianapolis 500, the Formula One United States Grand Prix, and this NASCAR 400-miler. His car not gripping as much with the front end in the center of the corner as he'd like. Mike?
Jeff Gordon looking for his 5th Brickyard victory, but it may take some work. He's been complaining a little bit about being tight in traffic. They tried to correct that on the last pit stop by raising the track bar, but still not completely perfect for Jeff Gordon. Alan?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is on the rally as well in this stretch of the race. His car's handling went away when they got on that stretch of taking just lefts or just rights as far as tires on pit stops were concerned. They made 4 tires on the last stop, 4 new ones. Now they're marching their way back up through the field. Junior running in 6th. Dave?
And Alan, Greg Biffle is going in just the opposite direction right now as we look at Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin has gotten around him, and Hamlin doesn't have a race car that he likes either. Hamlin's car very tight. They'd gotten it better earlier in the day, but they plan a big air adjustment on the next stop to help Denny get that car back where it needs to be. Behind him now, Greg Biffle, and again, going the wrong way, in a car that took on 2 right side tires last time. It didn't work out well for Greg. The car right now is so loose I can't drive it, according to the driver. And believe me, Greg Biffle can handle a loose race car. That is a bad race car right now. Jamie?
Well, Dave, Mark Martin doing a heck of a job in that 01. He said before he got in the race car with this GIN-DEI merger this week, there's so many distractions going on. He's the veteran on the team. Everybody's going to him for advice and for answers, what to do with their development program. He said he couldn't wait to get in the car, but today he's had his hands full. Lost that second gear right off the bat. Then he got a speeding penalty, but now he's gotten himself out of sequence, and he came across the radio just a moment ago and said, thanks, NASCAR, we're looking real good now. Alan?
After an engine change this morning and contact twice on pit road, Clint Boyer has gone to the back of the pack 3 different times today. After that last pit stop and a strategy call by his crew chief, he came out 3rd, took up 2nd spot on the restart, but now the handling is falling away, and Clint Boyer has slipped back now to the 10th spot for the moment. Dave?
Reed Sorensen, the pole sitter, is going to try to get that spot from Boyer right now. They're recovering after a race car that's been very tight and no grip on the front end. They made an air pressure adjustment last time. Reed reporting, it's so aero-tight I can't do anything with it. Crew chief Jimmy Elledge said, that's what happens here. Work with it best you can, driver. Jerry?
All right, thanks, guys. 44 laps to go. Pit stops, probably the window would open in about 11 or 12 laps. So, but right now, it's all about Tony Stewart in the 20 car. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s onboard camera. Earnhardt Jr. riding back in 6th position. He was a major factor early on. He has led twice for 33 laps. Pit stops coming up here momentarily.
Back with you from Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 41 laps to go. Let's check out the highlights in the McDonald's race rundown. The start of the day belonged to Ganassi Sabatas, who owned the first row.
They did a great job. Reed Sorensen, 21 years of age, led the field down, had a good start, got out in the clean air, and had a good run out front.
What a tough day for the defending champ, Dewey Johnson. All started on lap 45 when he got spun around.
Yeah, you just get caught up into things, and then one problem magnifies into another, and then it ends their day.
Yeah, he hit the wall at 200 miles an hour. He said it was the first time that he's got flames in the car. Kevin Harvick took the lead for the first time on lap 103. He won from the pole here in 2003.
Well, I tell you, Kevin's been strong all day long. He's starting to lose a little bit of that strength, but he's had a good run thus far.
On lap 110, he was passed by his friend Tony Stewart, who won here in 2005. It was the 5th different time he's led.
Yeah, Tony Stewart loves this racetrack, and I think he showed us right from the drop of the green flag that he meant business today, and he's got his car out front right now.
Yeah, Tony Stewart is known for winning in bunches. He's won back-to-back races 6 different times, Doc.
Susie, Tony Stewart setting sail here with 39 laps to go. You saw the pass on Kevin Harvick just a few laps ago. Now, Kevin Harvick has some issues with the handling on the car. Let's listen in.
I think I'm too tight off the corner, but I don't have enough grip in the front either. I mean, in the rear. I'm too tight off, but I'm looser than I am tight, so it's like a black and total grip. Need something to make the front turn better and lock her back down more.
Now, what he is talking about is the lack of grip on the car and how the car reacts. And when we saw the pass a moment ago with Tony Stewart, it had a huge effect on the air. Let's show you with our draft tracks exactly what was going on between the 29 and the 20.
Now let's take a look at this last lap. The 29 car is leading. Tony Stewart's behind him. They race down in the corner. Stewart gets right on his bumper. That high pressure air moves back over to front of Stewart. He's got clean air now. He makes a pass on the bottom. Now let's take a look at the 29. He gets in the clean air, makes him wiggle because it pinned the front of his car. When it sticks to the front, the rear end got loose then. So as you can really see, let's take one more look at this. Harvick gets underneath him, the air attaches. Now he tries to pull the nose down underneath, and he's in clean air now. More pressure on the front nose, makes the car loose. Okay, now one more time. Harvick does the fake. Tony doesn't go for it. He goes to the inside. He's got clean air in the nose of Stewart. Front end stuck good. He makes the turn. Harvick makes the crossover right here. He gets clean air at his nose, but also it makes the back of his car loose a little bit. But so, that's a good illustration of draft track, guys. I'll tell you what. And that's exactly, Jerry, what it feels like in a car when you're driving that thing.
Never been able to see the air or the implications of the air before, but you've been able to feel it now as a driver. How does it feel to be able to see what was actually happening?
Well, it's pretty cool to see what happens, but you know, as a driver, when I'm out there running, I get real loose, and I go to my crew chief, and I'm like, fix this car, what'd you do?
Maybe the first early stop of the final stop. It's Matt Kenseth in the 17 car coming down at 55 miles an hour. To Mike.
And Matt Kenseth in now. He's been complaining a little bit that he's been tight on exit, and that's been the complaint throughout the course of the day for the 17 team. They put a wrench in the back. They'll make a chassis adjustment, a 4-tire change in fuel for Matt Kenseth, but clearly he's not completely satisfied with his race car just yet, but he's away.
Well, Matt Kenseth's not going to be able to make it to the end of the race. He's not inside his fuel window. There's 37 laps to go, so I don't believe he can make it on this stop right here. He's one of the first ones to pit. His last stop was on lap 91.
But there's something called trying to pit early and hoping maybe you get some strategy move possibly.
My feeling is that he needed to pit.
Juan Pablo Montoya in the 42 car being shown in 4th position. Here comes the 16 car Biffle. Remember, they got to repair that valence or that skirt on the left side. Let's go down to Dave Burns.
As he makes a long trip down pit road now, Greg Biffle will get 4 tires this time. Remember, only a 2-tire change last time. Extra time spent working on that car now. They may go to the valence, they may not. They're staying on the top of the car, get a windshield tear off. Looks like whatever it is may be acceptable right now. They're going to change tires on that left side and get the 4 on it. The loose condition was the worst thing for Biffle, and now they go down below to try to cut that off right now. That was the last thing they did, and they pull it away as Biffle pulls away.
We saw that windshield guy tearing that windshield tear off, and we kind of wondered why he may not go down and cut that piece off. The only thing that guy can do, and the only thing he's approved to do, is to work on the windshield and service the driver. So if he'd have done that work, they would have been penalized. They had to wait for one of those other guys to come over there and make that change.
And more pit stops taking place. Let's go down to Mike Massaro.
And the call is a 4-tire change this time around for Dave Blaney. Twice today, however, they've opted for 2 tires. I was told though once was an actual mistake, but they learned from that mistake. They saw how the car reacted. That's why they did it later in the race. But this one's a 4-tire change for Dave Blaney.
And here's the 6th car. David Reagan took over driving this car from Mark Martin, who left Jack Roush a year ago. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car. Boy, do these guys really need to get this car dialed in for Little League. Alan Besser.
Well, Doc, Dale Earnhardt Jr. had rallied up to 6th place before the pit stop. Remember, he was back just outside the top 10, but he says the front end grip has gone away on the car, so they're going to make an adjustment to try and help him with that. A 4-tire change, and perhaps the most important thing on this stop, that big can of gasoline in the left rear corner of the car. The fuel man has to get the car packed absolutely full of fuel if they're going to have a shot at making it to the finish of this race on that stop.
Tires. Car was a little bit tight. He said he couldn't get off the corner. They just took a 4-tire change in fuel. No major adjustments. To Dave.
And on pit road now is Tony Stewart in the 20 car. It's a long trip down. He follows Ward Burton down pit road. For Stewart, there's a couple of things going on. First of all, execute the perfect stop, but also the temperatures on his car are low enough that he can stand a little tape on the grill. A small piece of tape will give him just a little more downforce. He said that last run, the exit was better, but it was too tight in the center. So he wanted the air pressure back with a little tape on there. It should work a little bit better through the center as well. 4 tires for the leaders. Mike.
You heard Kevin Harvick complaining on his radio about losing grip. Well, he's digested it a little bit, thought about it, and he thinks the air pressure was a little bit too high. He radioed that back to Todd Berrier. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment, lowering the air pressure on the 29 car, hoping that brings that car back to the feel that Kevin was liking earlier in the race.
And here's the 5 car, Kyle Busch, who was being shown as the leader after Tony Stewart and others had pitted. Terry Labonte going out in the 55 and the 5 coming in. Very careful to avoid contact here on pit road. Alan Gustafson and crew are waiting on this driver, and Alan Bestwick is down there.
Crucial that the driver not make a mistake and get a speeding penalty here, Doc. Crucial that the crew not make a mistake with the stop. This is the money stop if the caution does not come out for the rest of the race. A 4-tire change on this 5 car. Again, crucial to pack it full of fuel with 32 laps to go in the race. This would get them good to the finish from here, and a nice stop by the Hendrick Motorsports crew. Dave?
Denny Hamlin is in now. Air pressure adjustment scheduled for the 11 car. Remember, Denny was complaining that his car would not turn in the corners, just trying to make that last little adjustment. And now it looks like they're going into the cowl there as well. He may have stalled it on pit road. He has. He's trying to get it refired right now. Hamlin, long time on pit road now as the seconds tick away. They've got the tires changed, but they don't have any fire in the hole. Trouble for Denny Hamlin. A stop that was supposed to take just 14 seconds is now going over 30. Still trying to crank the car over, and Hamlin's day has gone south in a hurry here on pit road.
These cars are so hard to start when they run out of fuel. It's just almost impossible to get that fuel up there to it. These guys are really frustrated. They've got a can right there of fuel. They've got a little tube that goes down to the carburetor, and they're trying to get that fuel down in there. Maybe the tube has come loose. They can't figure out why they can't get any fuel to the carburetor.
And this is an eternity for Denny Hamlin, who had driven this car all the way up into the top 10. And now, Rusty, this must be an empty feeling sitting there.
Oh, this is definitely an empty feeling. Something's definitely went wrong. They're not even moving quick around there. They're trying to get some more fuel back into it. But, you know, to me, when you start putting that...
Clear one lane, 33 outside.
When you start putting that fuel in the carburetor, Andy, you need to stay with it until that thing's running good and clean. Guy gave it a shot, ran back over, and it quit running because it just run out of fuel again.
It's just so hard to get the car started. A little trick to get them started when they run out of fuel is just plug that gas can in there and leave the vent shut and try to pressurize that fuel cell and push the gas up to the carburetor. I didn't see those guys doing that. They had another system for that with that little canister they had, and it just failed them.
Well, pit stops have been completed. Now it's all about these guys sitting in the seats with the seat belts on in the final 31 laps. Tony Stewart, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. It's all about getting it done on pit road here in the final laps of the Allstate 400. Who's going to win it this year? Tony Stewart has the upper hand right now.
This telecast is available on ESPN HD, presented by DirecTV. Keep another thing in mind about the Allstate 400 at the Brickyard. There are no flukes. Only the best win here. Our leaderboard, Tony Stewart, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Doc, you couldn't ask for a better 5 coming down to the finish of this great race.
And historically, we have seen this race become a real gunfight here in the final laps. Guys have made it up. Rusty Wallace years ago came from the back, came and ran people down. Dale Jarrett had 2 wins here, but one of those he ran some folks down here in the final laps. 26 to go. How good is Tony Stewart? Well, let's check in his pits with Dave.
And he's been back and forth on the radio with his crew, with crew chief Greg Zipadelli. He wanted to talk to him about assessing the competition, and here's a conversation, or at least a part of it.
Is the situation like I think it is? They all run really quick up front, they fall off like a rock. They're nowhere near as consistent as you are after about 10 laps or so. Copy.
One other thing on Tony Stewart's mind, fuel. Do we have enough to go to the end? Crew chief Greg Zipadelli says yes, but concentrate on what is important, the 29 behind you, and they're trying to keep that in mind. Look at this, guys.
Trouble on the racetrack. The 8 car is just abruptly slowed, and that should tell it right there. Smoke billowing out from beneath the Budweiser Chevrolet. Alan Bestwick.
Tony Eury Jr. just climbed down from the pit box, said the engine let go. They are done.
Good job, bud.
Heard him say the power steering went at the same time. It probably means the front of the engine quit turning, whether it was a broken crankshaft.
I wasn't that good on that run. I was a little tight off.
And it was a year ago that Dale Earnhardt Jr. used a great top 10 finish to propel him into the chase for the championship. He came here on the bubble today as the last car in points.
Valence issues. They get tired as the race goes on, whether it's shocks or something. So once we figure.
And now this engine problem with 25 laps to go will not help him with just 6 more events here in the race to the chase to get in.
I think y'all do a good job there. I just think we got off base there with that experiment there in the middle of the race on the west side. That kind of took us out of the game, and we just kind of get back too late. We lost a step.
what they're talking about is really the handling of the car. They're just kind of analyzing their race. That's not really what knocked him out of the race. The engine just failed, and he's done for the day.
Tell you what, he was running in the top 5 throughout the day. I just started to say that 8 car is right there, and if they have the caution flags, he'll get a better finish. But look at that engine explodes right about the start-finish line. He got the thing slowed down enough, not much oil coming out of it. He was able to control the car and get it off the racetrack.
Saw Juan Pablo Montoya dodging parts that were coming out of the engine.
Let's listen to it.
Blowing up, blowing up. Pulleys come off the front.
Now watch from Juan Pablo Montoya's onboard camera.
8 car blowing the motor in front of you. He's staying high. Stay low, stay low, stay low. Stay low. Just keep coming. It's still green though. Come on, caution, caution, caution. Get on by him. There you go. Caution's out.
Little fluid on the camera lens. Looked like it was water and oil, everything coming out of it.
Now, Andy said it's blowing up. It's blowing up. The pulley just came off. And if the pulley comes off, he's going to lose power steering. Is that his first indication, probably, you know?
Well, that's first thing he felt was the engine lose power, and then he didn't have power steering. But we see some parts hanging down below the car. When you have something catastrophic, it can just actually the front of the engine just come apart, and all those pulleys and belts just fly off of it.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. was the car to beat early on. He led twice for 33 laps. Let's see who's going to come on the pit road. Earnhardt Jr. is sitting in the middle of pit road with no power to get out of the way. And here comes cars down to make pit stops. Kyle Busch is there, the 17. He thought might not make it on fuel. He is back in. And Earnhardt Jr. can do nothing but sit there and hope someone doesn't tag him. Jamie.
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s new teammate, Mark Martin, in his pit box right now. 4 tires, only 2 gallons of fuel, guys. He's in and away.
Going to be a 4-tire change here for Kyle Busch's team on the 5. They were good to go to the finish on fuel. Looking to see if they can gain some track position here with a smooth stop.
Pit stops completed, and there sits the 8 car on pit road. As you see Dale Earnhardt Jr. after having lost an engine. Let's check in on our ESPN Dish Tech Center with Tim Brewer.
Hey, Jerry, we're going to show you a couple of different scenarios here on our touch screen. You see this engine here? We can do about anything we need to. We're anticipating maybe an upper engine problem, maybe a valve spring broke right here, as you can see in the animation. Spring broke. What we think can happen, drop the valve down just a little bit. You're going to see right here, bent the valve. Next scenario you're going to see, comes up, breaks the valve off, shoots it back up the intake runner, which come down, got on another cylinder, and we're going to go back and show you one more scenario we think might have happened. Lower end problem, comes back in here, connecting rod, crankshaft. You'll see it heating up right here. Therefore, the bearing's going away from lubrication, lack of, or bearing malfunction. See the connecting rod bolts already broke on this side. Come back over here, continue, breaks the connecting rod, all the stuff flies out the bottom. Catastrophic engine loss right here.
Wow, perfect explanation, Tammy. For more information on how these parts and pieces work, log on to ESPN.com, search word know-how. Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr., who had a great qualifying start and led 33 laps early on, heads to the garage area here right now.
Closing laps here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and one driver who will not be in contention for the win, but who led earlier today, is now out of his car in the garage. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Talk about the early part of the race first. Your car was good, and then you dropped back in traffic some, and then what happened?
I was running 5th. I thought that was pretty good. It's hard to lead these things every lap, but we broke the pulley off the front end of the motor. The harmonic balancer's still there, and the pulley's gone, and I guess the motor broke, but you know, you have bad luck every once in a while. We have great motors all year long, and I'm real proud of the engine shop, and that one was a good one. That's what keeps us running up front in places like this, and we need the same power the rest of the year. You just got to take chances when you're trying to stay in that chase. And real proud of my team, proud of Budweiser and everybody that supports us. We had a good car today. I want to thank all the guys on the car back at the shop here at the racetrack, because the car was fast, and I was really enjoying myself today.
All right, Junior, sorry you're out.
And the key for him is that he came in 12th overall in the point standings. He would right now be the final driver to make the chase. Kurt Busch is still in this race and working, and Kurt Busch could conceivably pass Dale Earnhardt Jr. And at the end of this event with 6 races to go in the race for the chase and move into 12th position. And let's check out our Allstate Good Hands move of the race. It would be the 42 car of Juan Pablo Montoya making this good move to avoid all the water and fluid and debris coming out of the back of the blown engine on the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. And on behalf of Allstate, they will donate $1,000 to the Urban Youth Racing School as Juan Pablo Montoya gets the Good Hands, Allstate Good Hands move of the race award. Four of the top 7 drivers have won this race before. Tony Stewart did it 2 years ago. Kevin Harvick won it from the pole. It is 20 laps to go. Who's going to get it?
Here comes Harvick.
Harvick's got the position, getting into turn 2 right now. Excellent turn 2 down that long back straightaway, over 200 miles an hour. And he's got that clean air, guys, with 20 laps to go. And that's what's so key. That was a great move. He got it on the fresh tires.
Tony Stewart has had the car to beat. Look at him, 3 and 4 wide up the back straightaway. 41, that was Reed Sorensen, the pole sitter back there. These guys trying to get up here and dice it up with Harvick and Stewart.
Here comes Reed Sorensen.
Sorensen's put himself back up in the top 5 right now. Chip Ganassi, Felix Sabates Racing looking good right now. 4th, 5th in the standings right now as the race runs. Jeff Gordon, take a look at him. He's working himself back up to the 3rd position. Guy struggled through practice. About not a good qualifying run, but he's in position right now.
All right, with Tony Stewart and Juan Pablo Montoya both in the top 5, let's show you the results of the ATT Crew Chief Challenge. Which former Indy 500 starter has the best chance to win today? Let's see what you voted here. And 50% for Tony Stewart, 40% for Juan Pablo Montoya.
That 42 car is on a march right now. You see him right behind Jeff Gordon, looking inside of Jeff Gordon.
If you would have told people that a rookie driver would zip by Jeff Gordon, the 4-time Allstate 400 winner like that with 20 laps to go, they'd have told you you're nuts. But Juan Pablo Montoya is not your ordinary rookie.
He has really learned this stock car business quick. He came in here with a lot of talent, but no experience in stock cars. You see Jeff Gordon really working him hard. You see the sparks fly when he gets on the brakes. He's really, this is the time these guys got to go as hard as they can.
Awesome exit.
And Andy, we heard earlier in the broadcast Jeff Gordon complaining about the front end of the car falling a lot. Right now, it fell down. It's sparks flying out from underneath it. And look how much lower the air dam on the 42 car is versus the 24 of Jeff Gordon. So it's got to have something to do with handling. A visible difference right there.
You see, they get down in the corner. Both front ends go right down on the racetrack, but on the straightaway, it looks like the 24 car does have a little more air gap.
About a 3-second differential from where these guys are. This is 3rd and 4th. Montoya and Jeff Gordon from the leaders.
Got to hand it to Harvick. He just blasted off on that restart. He was on a mission. He knew what his plan was.
Boy, you got that exactly right. If he's ever going to get this thing right, it's right now. Dale Jarrett, you've been in this position a million times, buddy. You know exactly what Harvick's feeling right now.
Yeah, it's a great feeling to be out front, but I'd be very concerned if I were Kevin Harvick right now because Tony Stewart's car, I think, has shown all day that it's the best in the longer run. That didn't surprise me to see Kevin go by him. I think he knew that was his chance on that restart, so he was going to give it every effort that he could to get by Tony and see if maybe they could get a caution somewhere here in these next 10, 15 laps that would keep him out front, and his car seems to be better on the cooler tires, but I would be concerned about having Tony Stewart coming back there.
Dale, I'll tell you what, that clean air, the 29 car Kevin Harvick's got right now, as you know, is monumental. But Harvick, it seems like as the race runs on, his car just keeps getting quicker and quicker, and that's probably the thing that I would say that Kevin Harvick's concerned about right now, but Tony Stewart with that great handling car he's been having all day.
Yeah, you got two guys that obviously know how to win this race. It's going to be a great show here at the end. And back to Montoya, who's done a terrific job. I've been watching him a lot of the day here. He takes a little different line. We saw him when he passed Jeff Gordon. He didn't get into the corner quite as hard, but he really charged off the corner. I don't think you can count him out here yet, especially if we'd have another caution.
Well, I'll tell you what, that last lap, Kevin Harvick just ran a 52.10 to Tony Stewart's 51.95. So that last lap, hey, you're right, Stewart was faster. Stewart's got a run on him right now, Dale.
Yeah, Tony's got, I mean, he just seems to his car doesn't abuse the tires, and Tony does a good job of keeping the tires there, letting the pressures come up. It just seems his car gets better and better. But as we know, you can have a really fast race car, but you get to the bumper of that car in front of you, makes it difficult to pass.
Tony Stewart has caught Kevin Harvick, and as you heard Dale Jarrett say, catching him may be something else. This was a spot a few laps ago, or about 25 laps ago, that Tony Stewart was able to make the move inside.
Yeah, these guys were just playing around about 20 or 30 laps ago. They're not playing around right now. It's only 15 laps to go, and I don't think you're going to see Harvick just give Tony this spot.
Did you guys just hear what I heard? Stewart going, here, kitty, kitty, kitty. I'll tell you what, he's reeling him in right now, and he feels, look, there he goes.
Tony hard left.
Clear.
We saw these guys giving and taking 30 laps ago, and they're not now. You can see Harvick wants this win. He says, okay, if you want the top side, go ahead and take it, but I'm not going to let you have that bottom.
These are two tough characters right here, and Harvick's not giving up, but I'm telling you what, Stewart's got his number right now. He's reeling him in. And when he said, here, kitty, kitty, that's a lot of confidence in a driver that he knows he's got a real hot rod. DJ, what do you think of that? Well, he's got to be feeling good, huh?
Hey, yeah, I don't think that any of us have ever said that Tony wasn't a confident race driver, and he knows what his car is capable of right here. Very interesting to watch Kevin Harvick as they go down the straightaway. You see him pull to the inside. He's trying to break that momentum. He saw Tony come at him really hard the last time when he stayed straight, and that helped Tony get to his bumper. So he's trying to break all of that draft that he possibly can.
I'll tell you what, I remember a million times when I got open in my mouth and said, yo, I got it covered, but the fat lady wasn't singing, and I ended up losing it. So I wouldn't get too confident. Tony shouldn't right now because he's still in second spot.
We've been seeing on draft tracks how these guys have been fighting that dirty air, and you see right now Tony Stewart is fighting that dirty air off of Kevin Harvick's car.
Much faster down the straightaway. That's the only place.
You just heard Harvick say he's only faster on the straightaway. It's the only place he's beating him.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Harvick can maintain the handling of his car, keep hitting his marks, and not get the car loose or get the front end slide, he might maintain.
He had just a little bit of wiggle right there in that corner.
Rusty Wallace, twice I saw you lead this race with 13 or less laps to go. This has got to be deja vu for you as you're watching Tony Stewart now try to get to the inside. Harvick trying to squeeze him down, and Stewart can't get it done.
I tell you what, this is a key part. I've lost 2 of these races, one with 13 to go, one with 10 to go, and right now this is just about the same time that Kevin Harvick is. I mean, he has got his hands full with Stewart. Stewart wants to win this thing. And you're looking at 2 drivers that have won the Brickyard 400 before. These guys know how to taste these bricks, and they both love it.
That was Greg Zipadelli, by the way, the crew chief for Tony Stewart, and Delana Harvick, the wife of Kevin Harvick. And it looked like Zipadelli was pretty comfortable just laying back there, just sitting and relaxing, and you would think he was the one leading, but it was Harvick.
No, he's not comfortable. He is nervous as a cat. We heard that cat sound a while ago. He is so nervous. These guys are driving their guts out driving. Look at this, 201 miles an hour getting down in this corner.
And they're a little bit deep into a run right now. They're still running 201. Now, let me tell you what, I bet Tony Stewart's not as confident right now as he was. He just can't seem to run Harvick down right now.
He's fighting that air. We've shown it to you all day. He's fighting that dirty air off of that 29 car, and he can't get by.
You saw our draft track all day long, folks. The blue really screws the car up. Mike, you got more?
Well, you guys are talking about how nervous he might be. Well, he might not be nervous at all. In fact, this driver has exemplified some traits of poise under pressure over the course of the weekend. We've heard stories over the years about great athletes being calm under pressure. One comes to mind, Tom Brady taking naps before the Super Bowls. Well, yesterday during practice, Kevin Harvick was sound asleep behind his race car during that rain delay. That shows you that he was not amped up at all this weekend. This situation, however, may escalate the adrenaline a little bit. What do you think?
Tell you what, if Tony can get his front bumper to the back of the 29 to get him aero loose and let him wiggle up the racetrack, I think that's the only way that Stewart can get underneath of him.
Talk about composure. Peyton Manning used composure and poise to bring a Super Bowl win back to Indianapolis. Kevin Harvick trying to use poise and composure and the rear bumper of a Chevy Monte Carlo to bring a victory back to Richard Childress. He opens the door. Here comes Stewart.
Inside. This is the best shot Tony's had right here. And he does. He gets Kevin Harvick cleared.
Okay, he does a swap over underneath. He's got the clean air.
Oh, they bang.
I got to tell you, I don't think I'd have done that to Tony Stewart now. When you body slap this guy, you make him mad. He's like a rattlesnake, man. He's not going to like that at all.
Yeah, you're tugging on Superman's cape when you bump into Tony Stewart, but Kevin Harvick doesn't take much either. These guys are friends off the track, or at least, but right now, they are mortal enemies on this racetrack. 10 laps to go in the Allstate 400.
Look at Tony Stewart's hands on that steering wheel.
And Harvick knows if he gets to his bumper, he can get him loose again, but right now, it could be color me gone right now for Tony Stewart. He's got that clean air. That's what he needs.
And you can see Juan Pablo Montoya now is starting to run these guys down. He's entering the frame. There's the 42 car right side of your screen. Montoya, and you heard Dale Jarrett say, I wouldn't count Montoya out, and he is closed by about a second on these guys over 5 laps.
I tell you what, the 42 car Juan Pablo Montoya, he's going to need some help, maybe a caution flag or something like that to close him back up. Alan, you got more?
All while Tony Stewart was trying to pass Kevin Harvick, Montoya spotter Tab Boyd was coaching him, telling him when they get side by side, they're going to slow up together, racing side by side, keep pushing to get to them. He wasn't able to get on them. Now he's looking to get around Denny Hamlin as quickly as he can to try and challenge Kevin Harvick for second. Dave?
Alan, when Tony Stewart was 5 years old, he came to this racetrack for the first time with his dad. They sat in the short chute between turns 3 and 4, and he could only see the cars as a blur, but under caution, they would slow down, he'd see the colors, and he'd smell the methanol. That was the day he knew he loved this place. That morning, he came here under the cloak of darkness, in the top of a bus, in the luggage rack. That's how he got here, and today, he's in the first-class ride that's leading the Brickyard 400.
Guys, Tony Stewart said when he won this race in 2005, if you grow up in Indiana, a win at Indianapolis Motor Speedway is the holy grail. It's what you dream about, what you want. He got it here in 2005, and he is driving the wheels off that 20 car to get win number 2 here today.
Well, Jerry, right now, Tony Stewart is starting to hit his marks. He's calmed down right now. He just ran a 53.29 to Kevin Harvick's 53.80, so he's got a big speed differential right now.
Well, we can see Tony Stewart out front, but don't forget these two got together, and they could have a tire issue or a tire rub. We don't know if this caused any problem or not. We see these guys running together. As we see Tony Stewart get into the side of the 29. Knocks just a little bit of the sheet metal in, he's probably going to be okay, but I'd be worried about those valve stems after a contact like that.
Now, I'll tell you one thing I just noticed. It looks like the left front fender of Kevin Harvick's car is bent under, meaning that he's losing some downforce in the 29 car. He just told us it's getting really tight. GJ, what do you think about this? This is late. There's a lot of contact going on with these guys right now.
Yeah, there was a lot of contact for sure. And as we see Tony Stewart, I consider him one of the best at car control. Car must be pretty good. He's getting a drink while he's going down the straightaway here. So Tony's pretty relaxed at this.
He took his both hands off the steering wheel.
I think I could win with a car like that.
Really?
It's a wonder he isn't changing the CD in the car. I mean, he's so relaxed in there. Hey, DJ, have you ever been this relaxed leading at a place like this?
You know, I was going to make the comment a while ago. The hardest thing to do as we see Tony working the steering wheel is he's really loose coming off, but he has such great car control. I don't know that I've ever been that relaxed. No, out front is really the hardest thing to do is to lead this. Whenever he was behind Kevin Harvick, with Kevin being in the front there, that's the hardest thing to do is knowing exactly how far you can take that thing down into the corner because you don't want to give that inside, but you got to be able to carry that momentum. But Tony's obviously a great talent and knows his way around here, and just something about Indianapolis that brings out the very best in him.
Man, if you got that right. I'll tell you what, right now, though, it's looked like a race for second place. Kevin Harvick has got Montoya behind him, and Montoya's about 0.3 of a second lap faster, so He's got time to get around him right now.
Yeah, he does. I think that contact between the 20 and the 29 knocked that left front fender in on Harvick's car, and we've talked all day about how aero-dependent these cars are, and that's probably hurting Kevin Harvick through the center of the corner and his exit right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jeff Gordon, he's about the fastest car in the field right now. He just went a 53.70 compared to Stewart's 53.80. So, look, he's just going to run out of time, it looks like, to get up there. But he's definitely the fastest car at this point. And look at his teammate, Kyle Busch.
Yeah, the 5 car took on tires on that last caution flag, and he is making some fast laps right here, but I think he's going to run out of time. There's Montoya making a run on that 29.
Juan Pablo Montoya started on the outside front row, started second. If he can make this pass, he could possibly finish second.
You know, Kyle Busch and his team took a big chance there in coming to the pits to getting tires as we see Montoya try to get to the inside. But I think they were counting on maybe one more caution during this, and they could pick off some cars. They've got themselves in a position now that if that caution would have come 5 laps ago, they might have had something. This is a great battle for second place right now as we see Harvick trying to do that crossover move. But what a great day that Juan Pablo Montoya has had here at Indianapolis.
Well, I tell you what, that 29 car was roughing that 42 of Montoya up with his aerodynamic maneuvers. And it looks like he's going at it again. And look at the 24 of Jeff Gordon passing on the high side. That's no man's land up there, guys.
That's about the first pass we've seen on the outside.
And here comes the 5 car. So Harvick has lost 2 spots, could potentially lose 3 spots as Kyle Busch will try it on the inside.
The one place we've seen Tony Stewart be vulnerable is on a restart. So if we happen to have a caution here in these last 4 laps, Pablo Montoya might even have a shot at him.
And Reed Sorensen now pulling up in the 41 car. He was the young pole sitter today. He will try to move to the inside and take the 5th spot away from Kevin Harvick.
Dale, I'll tell you what, you got to hand it to Chip Ganassi, Felix about his race, and Montoya running second. And Sorensen just pulled up in the 5th place, man. Pretty good run for him.
Yeah, it really is, Rusty. You know, I've made notes here all day, and this is to compliment the Chevrolet teams on their aerodynamic, that they're taking advantage of what they have there. They've got a great package. They make it work everywhere, and their engine combination. But you really have to hand it to those Ganassi cars. Montoya and Reed Sorensen have done a terrific job. They've got those 2 cars in the top 5, and that's a really great day for them.
3 laps to go. Tony Stewart has led 62 laps.
Tell you what, you take a look at Jeff Burton too now. He's up there. The problem is 2 laps to go. These guys are starting to run out of time. And Tony Stewart's just getting ready to smell some victory. But I'll tell you what, Montoya, that last lap by fastest car in the field, Juan Pablo Montoya. And this guy is surprised everybody to come here, never run at this racetrack in his life, and be running second right now to a veteran like Tony Stewart at the Brickyard 400, the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Tony Stewart can smell this second Brickyard 400. He's real close to getting that white flag.
Yeah, if he gets that drink bottle out and takes another drink, now that's going to be really adding something to this. He doesn't have to show off quite that much.
I tell you what, that makes him a pretty good driver.
White flag right here. One more.
One more.
All right, Tony Stewart comes by. He had not won a race in 20 starts dating back to last fall. And then 2 weeks ago, he took this car to Chicagoland Speedway and spanked them. Led over 100 laps and said, guys, that has now become my favorite race car. I want to take this car to my home track. So they brought it to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, a track, as you heard, that he came to when he was 5 years old, riding in a luggage rack on top of a bus covered up in coats so he could watch these guys race. It's a track that he has dreamed of winning time and time again. He won here in 2005. And once again, with the help of that guy right there, Zippy, Greg Zipadelli, Tony Stewart will come down here in 2007 and take the win in the Allstate 400. Tony Stewart wins it.
Take a look at him, guys. A lot of confidence. It's 2 wins at the track he loves so much, one of the favorite tracks. It's a kid he always wanted to win here, Jerry. He's got 2 of them now.
He ran the Indianapolis 500 5 times, never won it, wanted to so badly, and now he has 2 wins in NASCAR's Elite Division, the Nextel Cup Series, in just 9 starts. And he made it look easy in total domination almost casual at times driving that race car.
I knew he had a good race car, but when I saw him driving down the straightaway with no hands, taking that lead, I just, what do? You can't beat a guy like that. Had a great car.
Yeah, I've gone through the fast food line at before with driving with my knees when I wanted to order, but I've never on a racetrack at 200 miles per hour.
Oh, looks like a little payback from earlier.
Tell you what, I don't know if they're mad at each other, giving each other a kiss right there. They get along pretty good, those guys do.
That could be just a little congratulations right there.
It sure could. Got to be proud for Tony.
He might want to dent that car up a little bit. He's tired of getting beat by it. That's 2 in a row for Tony in that car.
Well, I don't know what type of kiss that was, Jerry, but they just called the 29 driver to the hauler. They want to talk to him about some rough driving just then.
Well, they want to have a little discussion with Kevin Harvick, but here comes 36-year-old Tony Stewart, who grew up just 45 minutes away from Indianapolis in the towns of Columbus and Rushville, Indiana. Let's go down to Allen.
With the winning crew chief, Greg Zipadelli, who just watched his driver come by to begin what I'm sure will be a very noisy celebration. Relief or joy, or a mix?
Oh, absolute joy. Obviously, it's a relief. We had such a good race car, and we've had them here before and haven't been able to close the deal. For us to be able to do this second time, just the real deal. You know what I mean? This kid, he's matured so much. He drove, I can't even tell you, what a phenomenal race today. Proud of him. These guys back home, they didn't give up on us. They worked hard. They, like I said, second time out for this car, we've won with it. They worked their tails off on it. The body guys, engineering, everybody. I'm just so proud of everybody.
I know you try as hard as you can to win every race that you can, but knowing how much this race means to him, do you ever feel yourself putting extra pressure on yourself during this day?
It's not even explainable. The pressure you put on when you walk in that gate on Friday morning, the relationship Tony has to this racetrack and his history of growing up and what it means to him, that makes it double of what you normally would if you had somebody that just wanted to come and win here.
Congratulations, Greg.
Thank you. Thank you.
Greg Zipadelli, the winning crew chief.
And we officially congratulate Team Chevy driver Tony Stewart, the winner of the 2007 Allstate 400 at the Brickyard. Let's go down to Jamie Little.
Well, Doc, it was his best start on an oval, his best start in NASCAR. Second, he finishes second, his best finish on an oval. So, Juan, take me through 400 miles in a stock car versus 500 miles in the Indy 500.
I'll tell you, it was a lot of fun. My technical Evelyn Dodge car today was amazing. I don't think anything for Tony today. He was just way too fast, but we played it smart and had a good race at the end. And second here in the Brickyard, it's just awesome.
Where does this put you guys, your team, on an oval? How much closer are you to getting that first victory?
Yeah, we're getting closer. We just gotta get to a weekend and we gotta be the car to beat. We're there already, but we just gotta be the fastest car like Tony was today.
Well, he had quick hands, guys, and he had a quick car, finishing second. Doc?
Well, the signature for Tony Stewart, and listen to these fans, 250,000 strong, as Tony Stewart gets out of the car and congratulates his crew, and they know what's coming next. Getting hugs and congratulations down there. Got family here watching him win his second Allstate 400. Trying to catch his breath here. These guys, a lot of emotion. And there finally is Greg Zipadelli, dear friend and crew chief that helped guide this winning moment here today.
You got to hand it to the crew chief. He really did a great job getting that car handled. That is a dynamic duo right there. That's for sure. I'm surprised Tony hasn't hit the fence yet. I'm sure he's still taking in what just happened.
You can see how much they like each other. They have a strong bond. Maybe he can talk Tony out of climbing that fence. I don't think so, though.
The fans know that he loves to get up on that fence. He loves to get up there and wave to the crowd. And he said it takes a lot of energy. And sometimes when I climb out of that car, I don't have enough left. But he's going now, folks. Here goes Tony Stewart.
He's taking the whole crew with him.
I'll tell you what, when that guy does that, it scares me. I just don't want him to fall off that thing.
Joe Gibbs Racing Team, Home Depot Chevrolet for Tony Stewart, now a two-time Allstate 400 winner.
Here, I believe he's tuckered out. He usually goes all the way up to the flag stand.
Let's go to Dave Burns.
And he does it again, and I don't mean winning, I mean getting up and down there safely. I'll let you get a little drink of water here. I noticed as we get the checkered flag, Tony, they haven't done any modifications for you up there. It looked as tough as it's always been to climb that dude.
Yeah, it is. I mean, try it once, you'll see. You commentators are getting real good about talking about it, but I haven't seen one of you do it yet.
Talk to me about racing the race car the way you did today. It was good most of the day, but there was a time when you didn't have the lead, and we wondered, could he get it back?
We were about the only guy that could stay with anybody that was leading. This thing was pretty good in traffic there all day, and I just went down into one on the restart and got really, really tight for some reason, and Kevin got by us, and then once we got going again, we could stay right with him, and I knew after about 15 laps we could get a run on him again, so I was just trying to be patient and got a good run on him off of one there and got by. So that's a hard guy to race with. I mean, he's a clean guy. I mean, he's one of my best friends, and I can't think of another guy I'd want to race for the lead.
He gave you a little shot after that, and then he gave you another nice donut on the side after the race.
Yeah, but keep in mind, he's the same guy that put the donut all the way down the side when I won in his first Busch car, so he's a good guy. I mean, that's the two guys I had to race for the win these 2 years are guys that are good friends of mine. That's the way I want it to be.
Another good friend was on top of the pit box today. You joked about Zipadelli needing a pillow halfway through the race, looking relaxed. With 10 laps to go, you're taking a drink out of the water bottle. You look pretty relaxed, too.
I was thirsty. Yeah, I mean, I felt good in the car today. Just, it's still a long day here.
All right, you win again at the Brickyard. Tony, can you put this one in comparison to the last one?
This one's for every one of those fans in the stands that pull for me every week and take all the bullshit from everybody else.
Tony Stewart, your winner at the Brickyard. The last time he won here, he went on to win next week at Watkins Glen.
All right, take a look at our Crown Royal crowning moment in the final laps here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Kevin Harvick looked to have a strong car, but here came Tony Stewart in his Chevy Monte Carlo, shoved it way on the inside. Tony, who had the car to beat all day long. And when the checkered flag waved, it was Tony Stewart, the native Hoosier, and the entire Home Depot team who were climbing the fence. Back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, our Crown Royal crowning moment was the pass. Kevin Harvick trying to hold off. They bumped, they rubbed. As they say in Days of Thunder, rubbing is racing, but it would not be because Tony Stewart would not give up and be able to sail by and make the pass and go on and win his second Allstate 400. Celebration ongoing. Tony has climbed the fence and now caught his breath and getting hugs and kisses from all the family and friends who saw him grow up here just a few miles away from this historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Let's check in with Jamie, who's caught up with our fourth place finisher.
That's Kyle Busch's best finish here, and also Reed Sorensen. We'll talk to him in just a minute. But first, Kyle, great run. Your teammate Jeff Gordon just came up and complimented you in practice. They were saying you were the car to beat, and you showed it.
Well, I think we had something for Tony and something for Harvick there, but we came in, we gambled on tires and hoping more people would come with us and pit with us, but you know, we missed out on that. But all in all, guys did a great job today. Alan made some great calls, and we got off sequence one time. I thought it was going to hurt us, but in the end, it helped us. And you know, the guys had awesome stops, and Kellogg's and CarQuest for helping us out. And we're still going. You know, we're still in a championship hunt, so we got to make sure that we stay there and we can contend for this thing.
Nice job by Kyle Busch. Let's go over to our pole sitter, Reed Sorensen. Reed, I have to ask you off the top, what is it like leading laps around this place? 250,000 people that close to this racetrack.
It's pretty cool. I mean, we were really fast there at the beginning, but we finished about where we should have, I thought. Fell back there a little bit, and everybody did a good job. Just picked our way back up through there.
Good job for Reed Sorensen, guys. His first pole, the youngest driver in NASCAR Nextel Cup.
Well, celebration ongoing in victory lane for Tony Stewart, but what about the all-important point standings here? Remember, we are in the race to the chase with 6 races left. And take a look down there. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kurt Busch. It is very, very close. Kurt Busch climbing ever so close because Dale Earnhardt Jr. finished 34th with a blown engine here today.
NASCAR Nextel Cup Allstate 400 at the Brickyard, brought to you by Allstate, official insurance sponsor of NASCAR. Crown Royal blended Canadian whiskey. It's about quality, not quantity. Pennzoil, not just oil, Pennzoil. And Sprint. Enter the Sprint Speed Million Sweepstakes presented by Motorola at sprint.com/speed.
Well, this crowd of over 250,000 will file out of here, and they will remember this day because one of their own, a native Hoosier, has gone to victory lane for the second time in his career at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But another Indiana native, or Indiana young man who grew up in Indiana, didn't have a bad run at all. Alan?
And with third place, Jeff Gordon now. Jeff, thoughts on the race today?
It was a good race. Tony was tough to beat, and he showed it there at the end, so congratulations to him. I think he deserved it. I mean, he's a great race car driver, but great champion, and, you know, I know how much he loves this place. We drove from, you know, 21st on up there, man. We had an awesome car, but I could see Tony was making his way up through there pretty fast as well, so I knew we were going to have to battle with him. And then we got a little bit behind one time on track position, and from that point on, you know, our car just wasn't as good in traffic as we needed it to be to pass those guys. And there at the end, I thought Jeff and all the guys in the DuPont Chevrolet made some great calls and got us that third place finish.
And you continue to be very strong in the championship standings as these races towards Richmond click off. A thought there?
Well, this was an important race in my opinion. I mean, I know that Tony got some big momentum by getting this win, but I think we did too, you know, by having that strong win effort. You know, I think it shows what kind of team we are, and they, you know, they can get those wins, but they got to remember in those last 10 races, we're going to be right there on their rear bumper every time they get those wins, and hopefully we're getting our share of them too.
All right, Jeff, thank you. Third place today for Jeff Gordon.
All right, Jeff Gordon comes home third behind Tony Stewart and Juan Pablo Montoya. Aerial coverage of this massive facility brought to you by our good friends at Goodyear, helping NASCAR drivers get to the finish line for the past 25 years. We'll come back to wrap it up from Indianapolis in just a moment. Back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Sports Center coming your way next at the conclusion of this celebration here for one Tony Stewart, who has won the Allstate 400 for the second time in his career. Let's go down to Mike Massaro.
And, Doc, it appears Kevin Harvick's been called to the penalty box, if you will. He's been inside the big white trailer for the better part of the last 17 minutes, at least since the checkered flag has flown. Assumably, it's a conversation about what happened between him and Tony Stewart, the rubbing at the end of the race. We don't know yet, but if he does come out before we go off the air, we will be sure to get with Kevin and bring it all to you. Susie?
The eventual Cup champion has won this race 6 times.
Yeah, what a great day. I know Tony Stewart's in victory lane celebrating, but equally impressive to me was the Ganassi teammates Juan Montoya and Reed Sorensen in 2nd and 5th.
Montoya had a fabulous day. Tony Stewart, he's making that march towards the chase. We better watch him at the end of the year. Brent, let's go to Doc.
All right, guys. Tony Stewart had an incredible day. Andy Petrie, Rusty Wallace, final thoughts.
Tony Stewart just dominant throughout the day. Really impressive.
Yeah, and Jeff Gordon's team just showed tremendous character. They look like a championship team.
Well, Brent Musburger, Tony Stewart was Tony the Tiger here today.
Tony Stewart did it his way again and won his second Allstate 400 in 3 years. The last time he won here, he marched on and won the Cup championship. Will any of us ever forget that with about a dozen laps to go and Tony Stewart was trailing Kevin Harvick, we switched on his microphone, the conversation with the crew chief, and we heard our winner say, "Here, kitty, kitty." Has anybody ever heard a winner that confident in a NASCAR race? Tony Stewart and what happened here today with the slapping down the stretch, that's why we all love NASCAR, and we will tune in again. So long, everybody.